Dynasty is yeah. Dynasty is live. Yeah. Dynasty is live. Get it back. Yeah. From the ground floor, yeah, we started with a vision. Blueprint in the smoke, guard pressure, all precision. Late nights, hard calls, every move had a reason. Built it brick by brick, now the whole room thieving. Hope up been hit big, felt the love in the crowd. Hands in the air, yeah, they said it out loud. Every grin, every shout, we could feel it come down. From a sea to a wave, now we run this town. Hold up, you can hear it in the brass. Cut sharp, cut clean. Every step got a stamp, every bar got steam. We've been moving too fast for the old out team. Now the name hit the room like a live wire beam. Now the dynasty is live. Now the dynasty is live.
Welcome back to Brick Dynasty Live. Tonight's guest is a Lego Master contestant, an incredible builder, and has collected more event badges than probably your average net can support. So welcome, Tim's Brick Adventure. It's great to have you here.
I'm excited to be here and meet you and get to talk.
All right. So we're, of course, going to have lots of convention talk, as we kind of did in the green room there, because that's all super exciting and interesting.
That's
But
all I do these days, too.
I think we got to hit the rewind button first, if you don't mind, and give a little origin story. How'd you get started with Lego?
So it's kind of appropriate that today happens to be the day that we're doing this. My mother-in-law bought my son and I a set for Christmas in 2010. And this just happens to have been her birthday. She passed away several years ago. And in fact, that's where I was at dinner. We were my wife and the kids and stuff. And so I give her all the credit for getting me into this madness. Now, I had back in the late 60s, early 70s, my grandparents had a little Lego train set, and I've always been going to look it up and, know the number and all that. But it was one of them that had it was just red, white, and blue brick. It had the blue rail and the white cross trim. You had to build the railroad, and then it had the red wheels that stuck into the 2x4 and all that. And we just had a blast with it. But I don't know, somehow growing up in Western Kansas where there's absolutely nothing, there was TG&Y and then eventually Kmart. I mean, we didn't see a Walmart till I was in high school, I think it was. Wow. In the early 80s. So, and McDonald's too. I didn't know what a McDonald's was till I was in high school. So in 2010, that was kind of my first real, and the scary, or I don't know, funny part about it is with my daughter, I'd been in Toys R Us for years, but she was really into Barbies. And I joked after I learned where the Lego was it was all right around the corner. I said, I guess I never got to go around the corner and see all that wonderful, or I'd have been in trouble because I was a big comic collector for years. I had a massive comic book collection and I sold it. So I was primed to get into something else that I could collect. And I went crazy with it. So,
so you dove all the way in right away?
Oh, head first. I, back in 2010 to probably about 2014, without being a millionaire or even super rich, you could keep up with every set, with everything, because I think they only came out one. They did a wave once, maybe twice a year. $100 set was the big set of each theme. One $300 set a year, and it was usually a big UCS set. So, I mean, it got to the point where I'd go to the Lego store or go to the Walmart or whatever, and I'm like, man, I hope they hurry and come out with some more stuff. I got all this, but that's what I am. You be careful what you wish for, because now look at how things are. It's like insane. Now I don't keep up with it all anymore. So,
well, you've got your hands full doing all of the things these days. So I
try. I'm very blessed with where I'm at right now. So
yeah, I mean, if you were to even pick up a full wave, would you have time to build it if it was in front of you?
No, I don't. I have the Ninjago from the beginning.
Wow.
And God love me, I keep completing. I mean, it's I'm kind of it's like a grand every wave that comes out.
Oof.
And so it's like if you to buy all the Ninjago. Now I try to find them on sale and do things to kind of lessen that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's 3 times a year that they're doing a whole big monster wave. And I up until right now, I'm current. Now I don't know. I'm trying to kind of get more selective because I just don't have room. And like you say, I just reorganized everything. There is an entire closet of nothing but Ninjago from probably 2022, 23 that are still in the boxes. And then I have like 15 totes in the garage with most of them brand new. I had to take them out of the box and put them in Ziplocs. I mean, they're still brand new, but I haven't touched hardly any of them. So yeah, I'm a hoarder.
Well, at least you're hoarding the right theme. I'll give you credit. I do appreciate some Ninjago.
It's so cool. I mean, when I want to get out of it, I'm not big on the mechs and stuff. I like Ninjago because I've been in martial arts all my life, and I've loved the Asian culture and all that. So when Ninjago came out, it wasn't so much about the animated part. It was just, we got samurai, we got ninja, and I actually studied the real ninjutsu it came to America when I was in the 7th or 8th grade, and I studied it out of books. And then eventually, when I moved to Texas, I actually met a wasn't the grandmaster, but a master who had learned from the grandmaster, one of the last true ninjutsu grandmasters in Japan, and he was teaching down there. And so I actually did get to study some real spin jitsu at one time. But that's why I got into it, just because it was that. But I do enjoy the animated series. I haven't watched much of the new stuff, but the dragons are just, oh my gosh, they're so awesome.
Yeah, best things going. Ninjago dragons are unreal, and they've gotten very large over the years too.
Yes, they have.
Yeah. What is?
I'm curious to know, how did you get into all this? I mean, and what's your backstory?
Oh man, my backstory is not very good. I'm very new to all of this. We're pandemic builders. We started 6 years ago. 6 years ago now. My God.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that was fast. And yeah, I mean, we kind of came at it from a weird angle. We came in from like the reselling side of things.
Okay.
And because we had heard that, there was money in reselling Lego and investing and things like that. And then next thing you know, here I am 40 years old building my first Lego set.
Well, I was just a little older, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then it just completely sucked in, and now like this is my living room. Like it just we're screwed.
Yeah, my wife won't let me leave this room.
Yeah, this is our only room. I mean, we have bedrooms, but
right,
we're underground. We're in a small spot, and it's just taken over every inch of everything. We have Lego in the kitchen.
I know how that is. It is. It's an obsession.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's see what's going on here. We got all kinds of stars popping up. We got to check in on chat for a second here. So we got, what is this? 250 jewels from Click and Cliff.
Wow.
MVP.
Cliffy, the hardest working man in live streaming. I love him. Every time I get anywhere near his house, I always stop in and see him, and it's always such a pleasure. So, love you, Cliffy.
He is a good man. And then let's see. He says 6'7". Oh, geez. And then what is this? And then Clutch. All right. I don't know what Clutch is referring to. But, well, I mean, this is a Lego conversation. So, all right. Let's see. Let's run back here. See what we missed. Rob Claxton in the building. Have you met Rob in your convention travels?
I believe I have.
Yeah, Rob is a good man. And then we got
with names, so that's in Heather. I've gotten this meet her with through Cliff, and
let's see. We miss anybody else in here? Cliff and Heather are very active in here. Oh, here we go. There's a question for you. My boyfriend wanted to know what kind of martial arts you were in. You said that was ninjutsu?
Well, actually, I grew up in Western Kansas, and I don't know where I developed this love of the martial arts, but I was pretty much self-taught, just learning from books and TV for a long time, just studying a little bit of Taekwondo. And then it's a whole long story, but I'll jump. I moved away from my hometown, and I ended up back in my hometown. I was doing bail as a bail bondsman and a bounty hunter and a PI, and a kid that had gone to school with me, I guess, had gone away and came back and was teaching kung fu. So I started learning, and that's where my actual belt. I've got a black belt in kung fu and a brown belt in the stick fighting stuff. And then I've studied a lot of different things. I mean, the ninjutsu was kind of a thing after I moved to Texas, and I've studied. Now I haven't done much of it in a long time. Right now my body, I am doing Tai Chi, which is helping me get healthier again. But so I've dabbled in a little bit of everything as far as the martial arts. So
now I would imagine that traveling as much as you do, that's going to be hard for fitness. I mean, no,
yeah,
you do a lot of walking, but that's not quite the same.
It's taking its toll, and I do a lot of standing. And right now I've got some back issues and neuropathy and some other things. So, but it's, you know what? I think it's because I love what I'm doing so much that it's helping. And I'm going to be 59 here in November. So I'm not exactly, I mean, you talk to anybody over 60, I'm just a kid, but I know a lot of 80-year-olds that would run circles around me. So, but yeah, it does. And because I was big into bodybuilding too, through my high school years and stuff. And I had about 16 years ago, I went back to the gym after 14 years of just doing nothing, just getting fat.
Wow.
And I started out 5 days a week. And then after I got into my 50s, I just went to 3 days a week, and I was religious about it. But now I'm lucky if I get in 1 day a week. So it is a little tougher, and I'm feeling the effects of not having that. But you know what? You got to do what you got to do while it's there. So, because who knows what can happen next year or the year after. I mean, right now I've been given the opportunity to do what I'm doing, and I want to make the most of it.
So how did this all come to be? Now, were you going to conventions pre-Lego Masters?
Oh yeah, I got into, so 2010. My mother-in-law bought that set for Christmas, and of course, like I said, I jumped in, was buying stuff, of course, online and checking stuff out, and then I found out about the clubs. The Houston club actually, and we went to the one. I think the first Brick Fiesta. It's now Brick Rodeo, but then it was Brick Fiesta, and I think it was the first one that came to Houston in like 2011. And then I saw it, and I thought, ooh, this is kind of cool, but I was kind of like, ooh, do I really want to? I don't really want to take my Lego all over the place, and a chance of people walking away with my figs and stuff like that. So I really didn't go much further with that until 2014. By that point, I'd driven to San Antonio for Brick Fiesta 1 year, and I drove to Austin 1 year. Just literally went to the thing and drove back to Houston. And so the bug was kind of there. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. These are really great people. I really think I want to be part of this. So it was a hard deal to track down the Houston club, but I did. And I joined in 2014. And then I dove into that kind of head first. My first couple of conventions, I just did collabs. The first one was a collab amongst the group. And then 2016, I decided to branch out. I had all my little the Wild West is my thing. And I had all these historical figures I had created and didn't know what to do with them. So I'm like, ooh, I could do a whole Western display. And so 2016, I did the Wild West and the Samurai, which I love too. And then it just went from that to a much bigger Wild West build in 2021. And now that's actually what I'm currently touring with with Brick Convention. That's my main build for my little area, because that's I'm kind of jumping around here a little bit, but at Brick Convention we have myself. There's AC Penn, which most people know AC. He's like a legend in the Lego world. He been building for a long, long time, been featured all over the place, and he's a lot of fun. Him and his wife, I've really gotten pretty close with them. And then EJ Bocan, who is just a master builder in his own right. He has a lot of mosaics and stuff, and then he did a really cool big yellow castle. So the three of us are kind of the centerpieces of the show, and then we always invite everybody, whatever city we're in. We try to get as many people locally, whether it's the lugs or just people that want to come out and be part of it. So, I got off kind of off tangent there. So, oh man, reel me back in there. Where were we?
All right. So you started going to conventions prior to Lego Masters.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
So you had gotten into a lug and started to kind of establish yourself that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and that's how Tim and I kind of met. He had actually in 24. It was funny because Tim and I, apparently, unbeknownst to each other, joined the Houston club, or at the time it was still Tex Lug. It was one big lug for the entire state. It hadn't done the splits yet, and we both joined, and we both got very active at doing, helping out and leading, because that's the cool thing with the lugs. You get asked to do anything and everything all over the city. It wasn't quite as much at that point, but after COVID, now it's a lot. We've done libraries, museums, Comic-Cons, school function. You name it. If there's can be a Lego element, they want the club to have a presence and stuff. So cool. We both, kind of dove into all of that. And then when Lego Masters came around, he was actually the one that, because he was our ambassador for the club, he saw all the emails, because, you may or may not know, for season 1, they were having a hard, my understanding is, because I tell this story a lot at the convention every weekend, but my understanding is they were having a hard time getting people to take it. They weren't sure it was a real thing. And so they were just, anybody that had any kind of internet presence as far as Lego, they were hitting the clubs, just emails, the casting people were. And so Tim, I guess, had kind of been talking with one guy, and so he put out a thing to the club. He said, "Hey, I think I'm going to give this a chance. Does anybody want to do it with me?" And I was kind of in between jobs and things like that, so I was like, absolutely. I asked my wife, and she said, "Does it pay?" And I said, "Well, I assume it's a TV show. I assume you get something." She's like, "Okay." So that started our journey, and then it took us a while, but we finally, season 4 ended up on there. But he was the one. He's got me. I owe it to him that I'm doing what I'm doing now. That he's the one that got us started down that path. So,
how was that experience?
Oh my gosh, that was the best time ever. I loved every second of it. The people I got to work to be castmates with, and the production people were just, some of them I still try to interact with them on Instagram and stuff like that, because it was just so cool, and I just was living my best life. I spent most of my adult life trying to figure out what in the world. I decided at 18 I wanted to work for myself, and I've spent most of my earlier 40 years. I've been an artist, did commission artwork for years, carpenter, electrician. I did private investigation for 20 years as a bartender at one point. Been a minister and doing weddings at one point. You name it, I've tried it, and I don't know, something about that TV experience just just hit hard. Hit me right. And the only sad thing is it was just about a 4-week experience, and I don't know if it'll ever happen again, but I sure would love to do some of that again. But it would have to be kind of like that, not just reality TV in general, because most of it's kind of, but I tell people, because I get asked this question a lot, and I really, in my heart of hearts, I believe as far as Lego Masters, it's about as real as you can get, because we were not, there's no scripting. We weren't told to behave a certain way. Now, yes, when the final production, they kind of, it's Hollywood. So they try to frame things and put things in their perspective and stuff. But everything that happened there, all the reactions, any kind of drama, that was legit. It was just us having our moments and having a good time, and sometimes not having such a good time. But that's, that was the thing about it. I had never gotten paid to just to be me. And the goofier they wanted you to be goofy and all that. So, hey, well, here we go. So it was, and it has led me to where I'm at today. And I am just living my best life here right now. So
now, when that was over, did the phone start ringing?
No. That is the one thing you ask and you have, it looks like I saw with your intro thing, I saw a lot of my great friends and stuff, but I will guarantee you everybody from the show that's out there now doing a lot of events and doing things, it's all because of their efforts. I mean, being on that show does nothing. I mean, I can walk into any Lego store in America, and I do, and they have no clue who I am. And you tell them, and okay, whatever. But and I was fortunate. By the time I did the show, I had gotten to know a lot of the different show people, or when I say show, I mean Lego conventions. I had been helping set up Brick Fair since 2021, so that really opened up my world on the East Coast and stuff. So I knew a lot, and I met. Been able, because of doing that and some of the other things, had gotten to know some of the earlier season people and really get, becoming friends with them. And then I don't know, I love what I'm doing, and I have no problem going out there and, and I do a lot of stuff locally too. We just moved to this little town, Bartlesville, Oklahoma, 2 years ago for the grandkids. And anytime I'm home, I've done a lot of work with the library. I'm doing, Kansas is just to the north of us a few minutes. This summer I did 3 different little towns, their library programs and stuff. I've done a lot of stuff. There's a really great Wild West museum where I'm hoping my Wild West build that I currently have will find a home there as I try to do something new for the next, next convention season. But that part I was lucky. I mean, some of it I had to ask, though. They weren't asking me, but when I did ask, they were like, sure, let's be part of this. And I just love it enough that they see that. And I seem to, be a good draw to some degree. And it's, like I said, it's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding in the end too.
So how did that work then? Did you pitch them and say, I want to tour with your convention or something along those lines?
Kind of, sort of. Well, yeah. I mean, kind of. The ones that are actually, I've been basically hiring Lego Masters. There's several of them. Now, like it's kind of funny. The bigger shows where you find most of us there, that's more we're on our own dime and all of that. But there's several of these shows like. Brick Fan Event, Nick and Amanda, that it's at Atlanta Brick Convention is their big flagship show. And then they have, I'm not sure how many they're doing this year, but like I worked with them. I did all of their shows 2024 and 2025, and we did like 8 shows and 7 shows. Wow. But with them, I got to be with Mark and Steven, Tacos and Corey, Ethan and Dom. Tim Kroll was there for a while. And then, I don't know, it's different ones, but we were kind of the steady, traveled with the show every one that was there. And we're kind of the featured people. And then I also, at the same time, I was working with Brick Convention a little bit. And then there's the Ultimate Brick Show, Tim Kroll and Tim Woods, who I got to know through Well, actually, I met him at I've been him at Brick World. I finally got to Brick World in 2024, I guess.
It's the Super Bowl.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun, and I really want to get back up there again because I really want. That's the only thing with Brick Convention right now. I'm the only Lego master that's there, so I miss seeing everybody. But I do try to invite. If we get to a city where there's somebody close, I'll hey, you want? I'll share my space with you, and I do a building event that I inherited. Now I didn't create it, and I'm going to say this correctly. Tim Kroll created this Lego Master Challenge event, and then Corey Samuels brought it to Brick Convention, and then when the owner Brick Convention needed me to come in, he needed me to run that thing, and so I've kind of made it my own little thing. That's not really a competition anymore, but it gives everybody a taste of what we did on the show a little bit. But it's my own little thing, and if they come help out, then they're part of that. I've got to meet two of the juniors, Stella and Vincent. We were in OKC back a few months and in Oregon, and they came out and I gave them some table space and they helped me with that build event. They just had a ball, and it was great to work with them. And so I kind of try to keep up with that way, but Brick Slopes is like my favorite show of all. So Cody and Brian, oh my gosh, they know how to put on a show. So if you haven't been there,
I haven't yet.
That you need to put that at the top of your bucket list, because it is just, I can't even quite describe it. It's like a big party for 4 days, and like a family reunion almost too. It's phenomenal, and all the conventions are great. I got nothing but great things to say about any of them. They all have their own little different things. The only one that's one of the really well-known Bricks Cascade at Portland, I have not been able to get to there yet, but it's definitely on my list because I might get to meet Boone from season 1 because he comes back for it quite a bit, I think. So I don't know if they ever do an all-star or anything like that, and I get fortunate enough to go back. I think he's a judge now, so I'll maybe get to meet him that way. So.
There you go. Well, we'll see if Cody's ears start ringing. See if he pops up in here.
Oh, he's awesome. Now, you was talking about all my conventions. That's the man. He's got that crown, and now he's got a bandolier like thing that's just of all the badges he's been to. I mean, he goes everywhere. Yeah. So he's the man for conventions, but I'm trying to keep up with him a little bit. Not intentionally. It's just kind of working out that way. And so
Have you kept any kind of count? How many you've been to?
I've got all the bricks laying back there. I've been trying to figure out, a lot of them, like Cody has his crown and he has he made like a wrestling belt. I don't know. He's got several things. I've been trying to figure out something to build out of all of them. So I could count them all up on there because I do have bricks for them. I do know last year, I think I did 23. I think the year before that, 18. This year, when I'm done, it'll be like 34. And 32 of those, or 30, no, let me think. 32 altogether, because at 30 of them with Brick Convention and then 2 Brick, because I did help Brick Fairs Fredericksburg. The new one, the one that's coming up here in Baltimore, by the time they were able to get something going, I'd already had to commit to doing one of the Brick Convention shows. So I am going to miss the big show. I haven't missed it in a long time. I started helping with Brick Fair in 2021. The last New Jersey show they did, and I've been able to help be part of the work crew for that. And now I'm the bling desk guy for that show. But
that's an insane number. Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of road miles, but like I said, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm just the people I meet, and this last weekend in St. Louis was a particularly really great weekend. My merch is, I created these little buffalo for my Wild West build. and I had the original, the Browns and all that. And then I started, as Lego started making these parts in different colors and all of that. Well, I started playing with the superheroes, and the kids kept asking if they could buy them. So now I've got like, I don't know, I've got 30 of them, different ones I sell. I call them brickolos. It's my alternative to brickheads. But I sell quite a lot. I sold a lot of them this weekend. And the people, the plug that we got to work with and the people there were just a lot of fun. And I did have a couple of little kids that were just so starstruck. They just didn't know, almost couldn't speak. And I felt, and it does your heart good, but at the same time, I was like, oh, and I'd say, oh guys, I'm just like you. And I gave them a hug, it's okay. I said, I'm just I'm just an old guy having fun with Lego, just like you do and stuff. And they kind of warmed up a little bit. I don't get that all the time. A lot of people have no clue who I am, but when those special moments happen, and I've got some really cool souvenirs. Actually, at Ultimate Brick Show in Pittsburgh last year, one of the daughters of one of the displayers, I guess, after the Saturday show, she went home. They didn't know where she was. She was down in the basement. She made me this Christmas buffalo.
Oh,
and I mean, oh my
awesome.
God, that kind of stuff just melts my heart. I'm a grandpa now, so you get all mushy about that kind of stuff too. Yeah. But it's just one of the yet another really wonderful offset of the Lego community and how wonderful everybody really is in it. I mean, I hope you've gotten to experience that quite a bit too, because it's unlike anything I've ever seen. It's a great thing.
Yeah. It's its own little world, and
that's for sure.
Yeah, it's so different than reality, I guess. Like the people in the Lego community are very different than people you meet anywhere else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's when you walk into that convention hall, it's everything else going on in the world pretty much stays outside there. It's just, it becomes about the love of building, the love of, in many cases, these are people that have become family. You see them all the time. I mean, and that includes everybody, vendors. I mean, anybody totally related to the show, any way, shape, or form. If they do enough shows, and they just become, to me anyway, everybody's my family. So whether they like it or not, they're part of my family now.
Becomes a hostage situation.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Did I, Sisu, I don't know if I said hello to you. So I apologize if I did not. Hello, I see you in there. And Hoarder's in here with us now. Hello, sir. So, my God, I can't even comprehend going to that many conventions. So what do you do during the off season?
Well, there really is no off season. That's the beautiful thing with Brick Convention. We've done, now last year, we kind of wrapped up in November, and we didn't do anything in December. Now this year we've actually got, partly because January, one of the Austin show got postponed because of weather, and so he moved it to December. And then we're going to El Paso. That's our last show down in El Paso, right 2 weeks before Christmas, I think. So I think we're kind of taking the break on the month of November, but I'm doing Brick Fair. So my year is pretty much every month I've got. And then I try and like I said, I do stuff with the library and stuff. So I did a ornament building thing for the kids last year. And so I think we're going to try and do something with that again. So I treat this like a job. I mean, a full-time job, and try to work as much as I can, because I need the money. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, but I mean, that's kind of the thing. For the first time in my 50-some years, earning a regular steady paycheck and living a good, just living a good life and getting paid to do the absolute best thing you could ever do. Just talk and hang out.
Yeah, man, it does sound like a dream.
It is a dream, and I'm very grateful. And on the other hand, too, I feel a little, I don't know, not ashamed, but it's like I know it's a dream most everybody has. And sometimes I'm like, man, what did I do to deserve this? But on the other hand, it's like, you know what? I worked hard, and I put in the time and went through the crap to get to where I am. And so I'm just, I'm going to enjoy it while I can, but at the same time, I want to build everybody up around me and involve everybody that I can, and at least, give everybody as much of the experience as I can. And, my day will end and I'll move on. I really want beyond this, get into motivational speaking and doing, just because I've gone through a lot. Depression. I mean, people are really focusing on the mental health aspect and stuff, and how Lego helps a lot, and it does. And I dealt with a lot of that all my life too, so I fully understand and can empathize with how all that works. And to be real honest, I mean, right about 3 or 4 years ago, Tim and I had tried out for season 1, and we did well enough. We just didn't go to California for the final thing. And then we skipped 2, but then 3, they actually reached out to me based on what they had seen. And in that kind of interim time, a lot of things were going on, and I hit a very low spot for me. I mean, I just didn't care if I woke up the next day or not. And my health was kind of bad, and I'm still dealing with that. But through friends and all of that, and the Lego community, and then finally getting back into this, I mean, I came out of that and to the top of the world. So I truly understand, and if I can help anybody, overcome anything. I mean, I've dealt with about all of it, so I feel like I've got a little bit of, something to share. Now, granted, we all have to kind of go through stuff that's how we grow. The more adversity, the more you grow, kind of thing. So, but at the same time, it's always good to have somebody in your corner too that can walk you through it and help you, hold your hand and get you through it. And I have been very fortunate to have a lot of good people behind me, my family most of all, but I've got a lot of great friends. And I do want to do a shout out. I know he's on here, but Julian, aka Bricksmith, I don't know if you've heard of him or not.
Bricksmith, he's the Lub guy, right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
We did the Lego Ultimate. We haven't done one in a long time, but he is kind of the godfather of this, the live streaming and all of that. He kind of inherited the gentleman. I think Big D Brick started doing any of this kind of thing way back in 2015 or maybe even before. And somehow he turned the torch, or handed the torch, to Julian, and actually him and Haley Bricks. Kind of somehow, I don't remember how their connection was, but they kind of took it. And anybody that's a lot of the Lego masters that are doing live streaming and all that stuff, they went to Julian initially, or Julian helped them out. And I was fortunate to meet that big lug in 2021, and I owe him. That's why I'm the Lego master thing, not so much, but even knowing about live streaming and stuff like that, I had no clue. I had started my YouTube channel, but all I had ever seen was like Jang Bricks and Bricksar and the Brick Show, where they did their videos and uploaded them and stuff, and they had cities and stuff. So that's what I was, my plan. And then just kind of a series of happy accidents about a month maybe before Brick Rodeo 2021, which happened to be the first in-person convention of any kind after COVID. So it brought out a lot of people that it probably normally wouldn't have. Season 2 was right in the middle, so we had like 7 of those contestants. That's how I met Mark and Steven and Moto and Jen Smart and a bunch of them. Julian had friend requested me on Facebook about 2 weeks before that, and I accepted. I had no idea who he was or anything. And then when I got there, Brick Rodeo was setting up. I heard this woo, this old Ric Flair, and I go, "What in the world?" then somebody said something, and I went over and I saw who it was. I'm like, oh man, if we're gonna be friends on Facebook, I need to at least speak to him. So I went up and I started talking to him, and 5 minutes of a conversation, and he hands me this pink bucket, and
Ah.
I had no clue what it was, but there was a couple of friends that did, and they're like, Tim, you got a pink bucket. Oh my gosh, man. And they were just like, what? And I'm like, yeah, this is pretty cool, but what? And Julian got up and came over and did a Facebook Live of my Western build, and just started talking, like, what do you want to do? You got your YouTube channel, what do you want to do? Do you want to do live streaming? I'm like, I don't even know what it is. He said, well, I'll get you set up. And true to his word, he got back to Florida, I think a week later. And that week I was on every night I was on a different streaming thing. The first night it was with Brick Blaze. I don't know. He doesn't do his show as much. And then of course, Julian, those days, he was doing a Sunday night thing. And then he was doing the Lego Ultimate builds. And then he introduced me to Chris Giddens, Fazoom, old Gray Brick. They do a show every Monday and Thursday, and got me on there. And I just started. And then kind of Haley Bricks was at the 2021 show as well. And Julian had said something to her. So she's from Houston. And so she came over and was talking to me too. And she got me hooked up with Hoosier. That's how I got to know Cliff and a whole bunch of people. And then that year, not long after that, was Brick Fair, and the last Brick Fair, Alabama. And so I got to go. I didn't help set it up. I took my Wild West bill, but I got to meet all these people in person. And it was just like they all are just some of the most awesome people, and I cherish them, every one of them. But I did all those shows and stuff, and it just kind of, so I got to know people got to know me, and then it just kind of, and then there's the Bricking News, Jason and Alex. I met them. Well, I met Jason at Brick World, and then he knew I was going out to Brick Slopes, and he asked if I'd be on their show, and I got to know them and get to be good friends with them and stuff. So it's just all because of a 5-minute conversation with Julian, and I'm saying this on public right now. I owe him. I haven't talked to him quite a while, and I owe that man a phone call. I do. He is he is a very special individual, and I miss him. I need to talk to him. But anyway, that's again, I get blue and
oh, that's fantastic.
Wherever I started, I go.
That's one of my favorite parts of doing this show, is hearing the stories and watching like the windy path. Because that's where all the gems come out, right? And that's where you get like the real details, and you really get to know the person up. And I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Oh yeah, well, that's it. I have
awesome.
no secrets. I share a lot, probably stuff I shouldn't share sometimes. That's my family. But it's just because I love. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have any secret, and I love getting to know people. And it was kind of funny as a private investigator. When I would tell people I was an investigator, they would just start telling me stuff. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but it was because I was willing to share things about myself. I mean, it was, and it was just people I was hanging out with. I wasn't investigating them they just asked, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I'm a private investigator. And then they just start telling me things. And, but I think it was because they felt comfortable and just like, I'm somebody that they could talk to and trust that they can say what they need to say, and I'm not going to judge them or in any way try to make them feel bad. I want to know and I want to help them, whatever. So.
Yeah, I think saying that you're a private investigator is very similar to saying that, I'm a professional listener.
Maybe.
Right? And there are so many people who have a lot rolling around in their head or going on in their life that they can't share with the people that are close to them because there's too much of a bias. So to have an opening of a good listener, especially a stranger, where the judgment doesn't mean anything, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's an ideal situation for a lot of people.
That could be. I hadn't really thought about it that way, but that's and I've always said I've always been a people person. I'm not sure how. I was very shy as a kid, but I guess owning my own business and stuff, you have to get out there and talk to people and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I developed, to talk to people one on one and stuff. But I don't know what, since being on the show, something changed in the way I view people. I like now I don't have a problem in the world. I'm in front of people all weekend long. I get up and do the build challenge things. I haven't been, I don't know, probably in front of a couple hundred people, as big a crowd. So I don't know, but I have to think that no matter what size anymore, some comfort level hit me that I can't explain, but I live for this anyway. I mean, it isn't anything about being popular or anything like that. I'm having fun and wanting to share my experience, and I want to learn. It's not all about. And then it sounds like tonight everybody, oh well, Tim, man, shut up. But it isn't all about me. I want to meet and that's a big part why I was excited about to get on here to meet you. I don't know that we've ever met at any of the shows or not, but I'm glad to meet you, and I hope that going forward we get to do interact a whole lot more, and or whatever. And so that's what it's important to me, is building my Lego family and just family in general. So
it's an extended family, right? Because everybody really does like fit in their own strange kind of way.
Yep.
Where maybe not everybody is necessarily a friend, but at least a distant cousin that you're happy to see,
Exactly.
once a year. Yeah.
Well, and I gotta say, what I find interesting about the hobby in general, I would venture a guess that everybody, not most, a lot of people that get into the hobby, it's something very personal to them, and it's something they do for themselves. And so when they come to these conventions and they put their stuff out there on display, they're like, it's a big deal. And, interacting with all these people, asking questions and stuff. So I really feel good that, and I try to support them that, that making that effort and, putting themselves out there, because it is a big thing. It's just like any artist putting your artwork out in the world, because it's something that came from your heart or your passion, and you're sharing it, and you just hope that nobody's gonna poo-poo on you, or just tear you down. And that's the other kind of great thing with the Lego world. There once in a while it happens, but for the most part, everybody is just so supportive, and from everybody from the kids on up to that's what I love too. I am meeting so many people in their 70s and even 80s that are just getting into the hobby, and they have Lego rooms and they have collections and they're doing mocks and all that stuff. And it's awesome.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, it's incredible. And so, that's another big part of it, is how, and every walk of life too. I mean, you got manual labor, the scientist, the doctor, everybody in between, that's all come together for this one, to this one passion and one hobby, and getting to do their thing with it. And that's what's the beautiful thing about it. I mean, I say that, and I think I said it on my little exit interview on the show, that little piece of plastic is pure magic. I mean, and what it does and what it has done for everybody that comes in contact with it. And it sure, like I said, and I tell everybody too, because a lot of them, they're getting back into it, or, they're just, it's just, I'm just building sets and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, but here's the thing. I said, you have no idea what you're doing right now could lead you. I mean, I'm living proof. I had no idea, this was going to be my life. Never an indication in any way how that little piece of plastic was going to change my life. And it could be that way for anybody at any time. So, that's the other cool part of it too.
It's gotta feel really weird when you just kind of like, I don't know, if you get a quiet time during a convention to look around and think, geez, of all the things I've done, this is where I am.
It does.
That's gotta feel amazing. It's,
It,
it's very
I'm
strange.
just grateful. I mean, like I said, I was in such a bad place, and I felt like I had failed miserably in every aspect of my life at that point. And to now be where I'm at and just where everything's going, that's probably the best feeling of it all. That finally, you know, I don't understand why it took so long, but I do also understand this opportunity didn't exist until Lego Masters came for me anyway. Now there's, like EJ and AC, they have been basically master builders for many, many years, and they are so well known in the Lego community and stuff. So they've always kind of been a commodity that would draw people in. But if I didn't, and I'm just being straight up honest, if I hadn't been on this show, I wouldn't be doing this. I mean, I would still be displaying as much as I could. And my Wild West build, I will say, it has been just a real pleasure, that something I just totally, one of my passions, and turning it into something. But it has just, the love I get for that thing, that build, and I've done a lot of funny things with it, adding characters, and it just has appealed to the little kids. Now they love the train. I've got a working train on there, and unfortunately or fortunately, at Brick Convention, I'm usually the only one with a working train, because, and part of it I think is because we only have Friday to set up. So the really big train layouts that a lot of the lugs and stuff do, there's just no way they could set it up and in that time frame and really have what they have. So that's, I think, why we don't get that as much. But so the back, they get that, and then I have just the other, and the adults love. I got all kinds of these crazy characters in there. I didn't start out that way. It was supposed to be historical, and all these historical figures I was able to make out of Lego and what they were doing and how the Wild West came about. But somewhere along the line, that became a big component, and I've had a lot of fun with it. And and then just the artwork. The mountains are the big thing. I get so much, and that was my favorite part too. And I do a lot with color because of the art. I think I wanted to differentiate myself when I started, so I started throwing like purples and different things into the mountains and stuff. And I've gotten a lot of great compliments on that too. And so that's very rewarding in that aspect too. But that's also kind of the hard thing. I gotta do something new, and I'm almost scared to do anything because I don't know if I can come up with something that'll have that kind of appeal again. But I got to do it, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you could also, well, the little bit of downtime you have, which is what, it's Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you could spend 2 days a week for the next 6 months or something, putting together something behind the scenes, and when you're comfortable with it, you can swap them out, right?
Well, we're kind of working on that, but part of it too, with these buffalo, they're selling so good. I spend a lot of my time because I do it all myself. I sort the parts, I order. It takes forever trying to, with postage and stuff gotten so high and stuff. I really have to be selective on who, where I'm ordering and all that stuff. And then, and then I've gotten so many of them now. There's so many parts I have to order. So that ends up taking a lot of time too, but it'll get done one way or another. It'll get done.
Yeah.
So I've got a project and it's all under top secret, but I've got something that I think if I can pull it off, it's going to be maybe even better than what I got now. So,
wow. Awesome. Yeah. Do you source your parts from Bricklink or do you go through a pab?
Yeah, or if the conventions and stuff, a lot of times like the AFOL conventions, because they're 3 or 4 days, the vendors will bring out their tubs of bulk and stuff like that, and they're really reasonable with. So I've gotten a lot over the years with that. But most of it, that is one of the questions I get with the Western build is this a set, or are there sets? And I tell them no. Truthfully, there's I think there's a couple Lone Ranger, there's a Stagecoach, and then the train. I'm running the Toy Story train right now. But for the most part, because Lego just never, they did a little bit of Wild West, and I don't know that they'll ever do anything. That was my dream in 2016, that because there wasn't hardly anybody doing Wild West back then. There was a couple of people that had some really nice Back to the Future Western type builds, and there was a guy in Australia that had a really nice layout, but there wasn't much, and nobody that I know of yet has really ever focused on the historical aspect. I've got all like Wyatt or Wall, and I've got a whole little book that shows the historical people and what I came up with, and then a little bit of the history stuff, because I wanted to teach history with it, because I was really inspired. Actually, Grayson, that owns Brick Convention, many years ago, he did a little book, Medieval Lego, that he still sells, and it's just the history, a medieval history. I think he was going to. He's an amazing young man in his own right. He started doing Lego stuff at the age of 15 and built up a show, and now has built up Brick Convention, and did this book while he was in college, and it really inspired me. I wanted to do a Wild West book similar to it, but Castle seems to be a more popular. The publisher I tried to and pitch it to, they weren't interested in it, so I haven't ever really gone back and revisited it. But I always thought that would be kind of fun to do something. So I may at some point do. I got a couple children's books that I've had for a few years that I need to finish up first. So that is one thing. I am a procrastinator, and I work. And I've set myself up to work under pressure, which I did decide probably helped me on the show, because once Tim and I figured out what we were going to do, he did what he needed to do, and I went and did I had the fun. I just was having a good old time. So I was never stressing about, because I wasn't never worried about winning or anything like that. I was just there to have the experience, and I really enjoy Will Arnett in all his stuff, and so I really felt like, because I immersed myself in Lego Masters. I watched season 1 I don't know how many times, and season 2 to prepare, because Tim and I, for season 3, we actually ended up being the alternate team, so we did actually go hang with everybody for a week, and then we're told, well, you guys were the alternate team, so you're not going to be on the show. Which was one of the worst days of my life, but I got over it, and then we tried again season 4, and I guess we wore them down. They put us on there, but I had so immersed myself in it, that Will became like my buddy kind of thing, and I thought, man, we'll have a great time. And I don't know what he thought, but I had a great time with our little bit of interactions with him. And actually, the fun thing, and the one real good story I have is, I think it was the last episode we were on. I had, of course, I had been taught. You talk to these producers all the time. They're trying to find out stuff about you as things are going on, so Will have stuff to talk about and things like that. So they knew about all my jobs, my PI career, and bounty hunter, and all that kind of stuff. And so he came up and he said, "So Tim, you've done a lot of things." And I like, "Yeah, I do artwork and this and that." And Tim, the other Tim, he's like, "No, Tim, I think he's meaning some of the other things you've done." And so somehow from the bounty hunter, we started a spin-off that I watch the Western channels all the time, which I do. And there's 3 commercials on there all day long. The walk-in shower, life alert, and then this one car insurance thing all day long, over and over and over. And he's like, "Oh," he said, "well, okay. So if I was to do one of those commercials, which one do you think I would be good for?" And I'm like, "Well, you know what? You're kind of a macho guy. I think the walk-in shower." Because I was thinking there was the one Peter. Oh, I can't. The guy that was on the original Mission Impossible is one of the big actors for a while, and he was a tough guy. Did a lot of action stuff. And so I said, at the walk-in shower, and he's like, "Okay." So he kind of reached over and he said, "Here's the deal. If I ever do a walk-in shower commercial, you have to direct." And then he shook my hand on it. So now, don't ever. I would have no clue what being a director was, because the director of our show, we saw him, but I didn't have a clue what he was doing or anything like that. So I don't know what a director is. But if you ever see Will Arnett in a walk-in shower commercial, I might or might not have had a little part of it.
That's fantastic. And it's funny you mentioned those three commercials. That's so fitting. Like they're really putting the right commercials for the audience, right?
Oh, they do well that
Yeah.
and the drug commercials all day, all the different ailments. And unfortunately, I'm having some of those ailments, but I'm not. But that's the bad thing. I see all day long. They tell you what it helps solve, and then there's blah blah blah. Blah, it may cause this. It might kill you 100 different ways, and so I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't need to mess with that drug.
No
So
way.
I'm learning things too.
On which streaming service is it? Is it Netflix? We get some super cheap package, so we have the commercial version of like every streaming service. And I'm pretty sure it was Netflix. We were watching. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the show was, but this is a show I'm watching with my kids, right?
Right?
And the commercials during the course of that show are some knockoff version of Ozempic, some like AIDS treatment thing, which
Yeah.
which I didn't even know was a thing anymore. I mean, thankfully, it's in my life. I don't have to be aware of that. But so Ozempic, AIDS, and like I don't know, buy a Jeep or something. It's like, who do you think is in this room? Somebody's paying to market this to like my 9-year-old. What's even happening here?
I know, especially the drug commercials. They're everywhere. Because you know what's funny? I guess in Europe they don't allow them to do that. They don't allow them to have any kind of advertising for drugs and stuff like that. So
Really?
they turn it into like a magical thing. People singing and dancing. Oh, Ozempic.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, and it's like you listen to those commercials and like there's 2 minutes of like joy and people living their best life without whatever problem was just magically solved.
Yeah,
And then there's like a full minute listing out these horrible side effects.
I
And it's
know.
like, oh my God. There's a lot of illnesses out there that I just absolutely don't want. And God help the people that have these things. But like I would probably rather deal with some of these problems than the horrible side effects that they cause. Like,
Well, and I'm kind of there. I am dealing with some of the things, and I'm actually went to a Chinese medicine doctor. I'm doing doing the acupuncture and the herbal. She's a herb, they use the herbs and stuff, and she, knock on wood, she's done me a lot of good. And the thing that she told me right up front, she said, I'm here to cure you. I'm here to get your body back in balance so that you don't have to come back and see me. This isn't for the rest of your life. And any of these herbs I give you are only temporary. We're not putting them on. We're going to fix whatever's wrong so you don't have to keep taking all this stuff. And I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. I mean, I don't want to be on this stuff the rest of my life, and I don't have the money for it either. So, but I don't know. We're getting way off of
yeah,
the
well,
fun stuff.
that's half the fun. Yeah.
So I want to know. So how did you get into the podcasting and stuff?
By accident.
Okay.
So Coolhan Luke's Bricks.
Yeah,
You familiar with them?
yeah, yeah.
Coolhan's a great guy. And it was a year and a half ago, he was doing a charity stream right after the California wildfires.
Oh yeah,
He was doing a charity stream for that. And he asked if I wanted to be involved. Like, sure. Like we have like a little build stream that myself and somebody from my team we used to do a little bit. So sure, we can do that. So Saunders was my co-host then. We had a little build stream that we did during the course of that. It's like, hey Saunders, maybe it'd be cool to have a guest. So after the charity stream, the next week we had Coolhan on as a guest, and we gave away a couple sets to help raise money. So we did the giveaway during that following stream. It's like, man, this is a lot of fun. Like maybe instead of doing build streams, we just have guests on every week. And I don't know how, but for what do we figure out? This is week 95. This is show number 95, and we've taken 3 weeks off.
That's incredible. That's awesome.
And like, I don't know how, but somehow somebody's always willing to sit here with me and hang out for,
Well, you're
an hour and a
awesome,
half, 2
man.
hours.
I'm having a good time. I mean,
Well, it's good to hear. Thank you. And
I wish I'd have met you sooner.
yeah, and this has been so much fun, and we've made it a point to have as many different guests on as possible. Well, I should say I now, because Saunders hasn't been a co-host in a while. Rick Dynasty is still a group, but it's just
Right.
me on the show. Well, that was weird. I don't know what happened to lighting there. Yeah, so try to vary the guests as much as possible, so our viewers can see people that they might not have seen in their regular circles, right? To try to avoid the click thing and let everybody branch out and meet new people. And it's worked out great. I mean, we've had people from every corner of
I saw
the
that.
community.
Kudos to you. That's amazing. Well, that was something, a pet project. I called it Empowerment of the Brick, and that was my idea too, to get because I knew so many wonderful builders that just, they don't get any kind of spotlight. They're not winning awards, and they're not doing a lot of conventions and stuff, but they are some of the most amazing builders I've ever seen, and I wanted to highlight them. Of course, then things kind of happened, and I never really got around to it, but I do want to kind of revisit it. But if got you out here doing it and stuff like that, that's kudos to you. Like I said, it's awesome. But
well, I mean, there's always room for more, right? I mean, start a show if you want to start a show, or if you don't, send people over here if you want people to.
I will definitely do that too. And one of these days, my new pet project, because I am seeing more Wild West builders and stuff. And it's purely selfish on my part. I want to get to know all these people that are actually doing Wild West. So I want to do kind of invite all of them on and talk to them and get to know, because I know there's most of them are collabs. So there's a lot of them doing it. I mean, that's the thing. I'm by myself. So, but anybody that's interested in the Wild West, I want to get to know. And, and I've learned a lot of things. I've created a lot of things. That's my YouTube channel. I haven't looked at it in a while. I was on something the other day. I'm almost up to 1,000 subscribers. Wow. I haven't made a video in a year and a half, probably, or even looked at YouTube. So
wow, good for you.
Thank you, everybody. If anybody's out there that signed up recently, but there is a lot of good stuff on there, and just as far as how to and that kind of thing. So there is stuff there for people to go to. So I'm very excited that it's growing. But and one day I'll get back to it. But no, and that's where y'all inspire me to get my butt in gear and do things too. So,
have you thought about maybe doing like something? I don't want to say it's simple, because it's not, but I guess it's more convenient, like a convention vlog or something along those lines, a little bit more, I don't know, a picture video, something like that.
At one point I kind of tried. I took video and pictures of all the conventions, all the builds, and I would sit down, and then somewhere along the line it just got to be too much. And I don't know, when I'm at the show, it takes me a while to set everything up. So, but my Friday, I'm usually there trying to get my thing. And then I don't know, once the crowds come, because I really feel bad, I don't get to interact with the local builders and stuff as much as I'd like to. And it seems like I go there early with the idea to take pictures and talk to them more, but I'll get talking to one person or just two people. And as you can see, I just ramble on and on. The next thing I know, it's time for the convention to start. So I kind of miss, and I need to get some better. Julian actually pointed this out. He said, Tim, I'm just going to be honest with you, dude. You shake really bad. You need to get a gimbal or something. And I do. I don't know what it is. I'm right there with the diabetic thing, but not quite. over that cusp, and I'm trying not to get over that cusp, but consequently I do kind of. So I would like to do more of that and stuff. I'm not a big selfie or
Yep.
I like making my videos here, but when I get out in the wild, I'm just talking and going and
Yeah.
trying to get a camera, and because I'm terrible about getting selfies and stuff. I hate that the show's over and I met all these wonderful people, and a lot of them will take pictures with me, and they have them. So I suppose if I put out a big blast, hey, anybody that's got a picture with me, send it to me. I'd like to see it. It would probably, I'd get quite a few of them, but I'm terrible at it myself.
Yep.
So, but I like that's a great idea.
It's hard. Like
It is.
at Brick World this year, we went Monday to Monday, so we were there forever.
Oh my
and,
gosh! Wow.
And I met almost everybody I was trying to meet. It's impossible to meet everybody. It doesn't matter how much time you have, right? But we came close. We got a good handle on it. And looking at pictures afterwards, everyone else's pictures, because I basically took none, right?
That's me.
Like, I didn't even stop for pictures. Like, I was in the background in a few, but like I never stopped. It's always somewhere.
Yeah.
Pictures aren't front of mind for me because you're in the moment doing the thing with your people.
Yep.
But I'm always disappointed afterwards. Like, man, I wish I had it's almost like you're looking for evidence. So when your memory starts to fade, you're like, oh yeah, I did do that. Like, I don't know.
Well, and the thing too, you have all them, I do pretty good job of taking pictures of all the builds at the shows and stuff, but I never go back and look at them. It's like, so, and I hate what I take pictures of them for is because I really want to do like a wrap up post of what the great stuff I saw and kudos to and sometimes I get it done, so most of the time I don't, and I hate that because I see so many great things and so many wonderful people that I want to highlight. I did do a video, and it was kind of because his dad reminded me, but there was a young man in I think it was New Jersey, who makes these wonderful amazing young man. I don't know. He's probably 6 or 7, I think. And he did Transformers. He created his own. And so I did do a video and to introduce him and stuff. And his dad reached out to me a few weeks ago and said, hey, did you ever get that video or find that video you made? And I'm like, oh, I thought I'd done something with that. So we got that out there. The sad part is he doesn't really do social media. So I don't know. I didn't have any way for people. I had a lot of great comments and stuff, but I had no way to. But I think his dad was they were following me and stuff. So hopefully they got to see. But, so I try, if it's really, really important, I try to make it happen. I mean, it's really, really important all the time, but there's so many people I want to shout out and all that it's kind of hard to keep up with.
So, question here for you. About collaborations at shows.
So funny story about that. My Wild West build was the inspiration. Actually, Brick Rodeo 2020. Robert Claraday, who is a phenomenal build. He's part of the San Antonio lug, and he's actually the guy that kind of lays out Brick Rodeo. And he loves Wild West, and he was like, hey, we need to do a Wild West collab for last year, 2024. And I'm like, yeah, let's, and then something happened, it was just kind of one of the things we threw out there. And then the 2022 Brick Rodeo, because it went back and forth between Houston and Austin. And this now I think it's going to stay in Austin for a while. But another builder, Matthew Green, who is part of the Dallas club, who I've known the man since 2015, I guess. I saw his stuff at one of the Brick Fiestas. He does these just huge monster builds. That show he had Helms Deep, and I mean it was probably a 6-foot table long. He had a World War II diorama. He had the Shire, and he does all this stuff. And so I'd always been a big fan of his. And so he was at Brick Rodeo 2023. I saw him, and he was like, "Man, I want to do a Wild West collab with you." And I'm like, you know, my hero, I want to do it. And then Robert came out and said, "Man, you're supposed to do one with me." And I said, "Well, let's do this thing." And the kind of the thing was, I had a whole list of shows I was having to do, working, and so I thought we were going to kind of ease into this thing. Well, Matthew just took it and ran. He had I think he ended up recruiting 12 people to do this collab, and I tried to figure out how in the world I could do something and fit in, but everything I was going to build somebody else, and then my schedule just got so crazy, so I never got to help at all. But they ended up doing this I think it's 60 feet of Wild West incredible goodness of all kinds. They got all kinds of fun space references. He did Devil's Tower. I think that thing is probably a good 4.5 feet tall. And then hundreds of his own little like herd of buffalo. I mean, he did probably a third of it. And then there was everybody. Robert had this beautiful canyon with the working water feature and all that. And then you had all these other people that had. So it's on Beyond the Brick. So if anybody out get a chance, go check it out, because they did a bang up job. But that was as close to a collab. I inspired it, and so that's about as close as I got to it. But it wasn't. I don't know. I find it hard. I don't know how everybody that does the collabs, because I don't know. It's it's hard to figure out where to fit in, kind of thing, I guess. But I was looking here.
Western version of Lord of the Rings would be fun.
Cowboy hobbits. Well, to be honest, there is some Hobbit and Lord of the Ring torsos and stuff in my build now. So it wouldn't be a sparse stretch. I got the Simpsons and Looney Tunes, Disney, a few Star Wars in there now. Now everybody has to be a cowboy. They all get made into cowboys if they go in there. But
those tents that you use, those are from Indiana Jones, right?
They are. I had no idea at the time. I just found them on Brick, because I got into Lego in 2010, and then it wasn't long that I saw people just taking the existing parts and making superheroes and all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, I wonder how many Wild West figures I can make. I had my list: Wyatt Earp, Wild Bill Hickok, and Buffalo Bill, and all of them, and so I started making all of them. And holy cow! Oh, this is getting worse all the time.
So, did you use like movies as reference? Like, okay,
well, I do have some movie, because that's my thing. All my life I love the Wild West history, movies, TV. And so I do have my clinic. Of course, John Wayne, he's my guy. So he was one of the, I have to make stickers for them. I did like the Virginian and Trampus. That's one of the Virginian was a really popular West that I still love. Randolph Scott, he did a lot of Westerns. The thing that I'm running into, and I'm putting the hats, Lego only makes a certain number of styles of hats, and like the Cartwrights, Bonanza, I don't know if I'm familiar with Bonanza. There was Cartwright boys, and Haas had this big 10-gallon hat, and I really want to make them, but I don't have a way to make that hat. And I thought for the longest time that 3D printing, but I've since recently learned, talking to some of these guys that make the custom figures and stuff, that the 3D printing really wouldn't work as well for the hats. And I don't remember why, but there's some kind of resin printing that was explained to me this weekend. And it's kind of the same way, but it's UV, it's the liquidy, it's liquid, and the UV light hardens that liquid, but you get a much smoother, almost, it looks like Lego, where the 3D stuff has that kind of matte finish kind of to it. And so that was what I was told would be the way to do all these hats. Because like Blazing Saddles, I love that movie.
Ah,
I've got
so
Monk
good.
there, and Clavon Little would be easy enough to do because I've already done kind of a buckskin uh, sticker to make an outfit. But Gene Wilder's character, the Frisco Kid, I think, or something like that, you got to have his hair. And then he had kind of a different round, kind of more a hat that kind of like Clint Eastwood wore in
Yep.
his movies. It had more of a flat thing. Um, so it's just hard. That's what's kind of keeping me from getting too crazy with the movie people. But um, I've learned to incorporate everything. Wizard, her actually the Jedi are perfect for like the Apache or the South in the southwestern tribes and stuff. I've got a Geronimo figure that is absolutely perfect from this photograph of him that's very famous. And about the time I was making him, Lego did this hair piece that just, I mean, I don't know. It's crazy how for just randomly making figures and parts, how close some of these heads prints and stuff are to some of these actual, like Billy the Kid. My Billy the Kid looks really good. Belle Star looks really good. And it's just, those are just straight Lego parts. I didn't have to make stickers or anything. I found just from the various themes and stuff.
Uh,
So
what was the name of Val Kilmer's character in, was that Tombstone?
he was Doc Holliday.
Ah, that's okay. Yep. Okay.
And that's the funny thing. So my OK Corral, my Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday and Morgan and I never can remember. um, they're kind of roughly more based on the Tombstone version than the historical, but they're actually pretty close. I actually we did a show in Arizona here in May. So we were in Phoenix, but I flew into Tucson and rented a car and drove down to Tombstone. So I've got some pictures and I learned some more history and stuff. So my OK Corral can now be even more realistic. The only thing that was kind of disappointing, the original barn and all that burnt down at some in the late 1800s, and they never tried to rebuild it or anything like that. So what they do have is just kind of a recreation, and I wasn't sure how accurate it was. But the cool thing was apparently Wyatt Earp did a diagram on the exact spot of where everybody was standing, and now they have these mannequins they're dressed up like them. And it's crazy how close they were all together. And I mean, this 30-second just popping off these, guns, and how not all of them ended up dead, but it's wild. But I am going to try and lay them out in the way he had them on there. So at least that'll be kind of funny thing with that. So I had, three, you may or may not know, three of them, Ike or Billy Clanton and the two McLaury brothers ended up getting killed that day. And for the longest time, I had them laying down like they'd been shot. I didn't have blood and all that. I just had them laying down. And the funny thing was, as the weekend would go through, I'd see them set up. The kids all thought they fell over, so they were putting them up for me. And so I'm like, you know what? This is great. They don't need to be dead. They can be having the shootout. So now they all stand up. But that was kind of them not knowing the history, why they were helping me out.
So Mayo is asking if you incorporate Lego's Western characters. So do you have any of like the actual Western characters, the Lego, I hate to call them generic, but non-specific characters, I guess?
Most of them, yeah. I don't own any. I never bought any of the actual sets because even back in 2011, 2012, when I started buying stuff, the sets were kind of pricey. But I figured out, you could buy the stickered parts for next to nothing. That's what I did with Fort Legarado. I think there's 2 stickered parts and a flag, and I paid $1, and then I spent another $100 and had enough parts to build 3 of them. Now, I didn't have all the cavalry guys, but I had already, back at that time, nobody cared about the Wild West at all. So I was picking up all of that stuff pretty reasonable, and I wasn't going crazy. I just was what I needed. So I do have quite a few of them, because I noticed the other day, like the cavalry figures here in the States are going for $20 a piece, and people only have one or two. There's nobody that has, like, the Europeans bought them all up. There's a guy over in Germany that has thousands of them, just like the stormtroopers. So if you need them, that's probably where they are, is over there. But I did create stickers for ones, and I buy 10 cent, or there for a while I was getting blue torsos for 10 cents. So I was making all kinds of cavalry guys that way. But yes, I would be willing to bet that I have many of the original torsos and legs, especially with the Native Americans, because there are so few. There was only like 3 or 4 variations of those made. So I have a ton of that stuff, and I was fortunate enough. I got one of each of the TPs, and then I got a couple of the cavalry wagon covers that I use. Now I just bought the parts and built the wagons and that kind of thing. I didn't buy the kit sets or anything, but and then the Lone Ranger stuff, I went to town on that. I gobbled that up as much as I could, because it wasn't very popular either when it was out. So they clearanced it out pretty regular. So I ended up with quite a bit of that stuff, and it helps a lot because I mix and match, and that's where I run into issue with the legs. There's like probably maybe 10, 15 different cowboy legs that are on on 3/4 of my figures in that build, but you don't ever really see them. So, and Lego does throw us a bone every once in a while. They'll sneak a Native American, or as of late, a different cowboy and a new hat in with the CMF series and stuff. So that's been kind of good too, but they won't go hardcore. I mean, I'd be happy even if they make, space cowboys or anything, just to get some more variety of hats and some torsos and stuff to work with. I mean, anything helps.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that there hasn't been a 10-gallon hat.
I know. Well, the troll sets. There is a centaur figure that has this giant oversized and it is probably 10 gallon. And I have like 5 or 6 of them scattered. I've got one on my sig fig, which is funny because I don't wear hats, but I'm a sig fig that hat. I've got the actual. I went ahead. And I'll let a little secret out because I get asked this a ton. Yes, that big goofy cowboy hat is a legitimate Lego hat, and it's part of that troll. But it's hard to get just the hat, but if you order the figure, and there's quite a few of them, the hat, you can get the hat for the same price. You can get the hat and the figure. So now everybody's gonna probably go out and pick up because I think what happened, Brick Rodeo 2021, they had a little mascot. That's where I didn't know about them until then. So, and they probably bought, several hundred of them to be able to have them for the things they handed out and stuff. So there was already a deficit before I got a hold of them. And I own probably 10 or 12 of them, but that I use for various things. What I want to do, I saw the big foam hats for 4th of July. I want to see if either I can make one or get somebody to make one of them out of foam or what rubber, and I'll wear that at the show.
Fantastic. Oh, Mayo's taking off. See you later, Mayo. Have a good night.
Bye, Mayo. Yeah, I've known him for a long time too. I've never met him actually, but we've been on because he was on Hoosier stuff a lot and still is, and so I've known of him. And Suzu, I finally got to meet him last year in Nashville, and we had a good time. So it was awesome. I miss him too.
One of the rare people that has actually got to see his face.
Yeah. I didn't even. It had to be at the show, and he didn't want a picture taken either. So he could stay anonymous. I think I do have one though somewhere. But
yeah, that's why you got to carry those. What are they called there? The theater masks, the little mask on a stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's it. I mean, so many. That was the thing. even when I did like with Hoosier and oh, sometimes they all the whole stream was just their hands. You never got to see their face or anything, and they talked, and I'd get on there and I'm in my big old ugly bug because I don't have the rights. I don't have a setup at all. I've got just this basic camera right here in the front. I've been going to try and build a little thing and try and have the dual camera and what I'm building and stuff, but I just haven't got around to doing it all.
Let me see if this camera will reach. Can I stretch this
Do you
out?
have a Bricklink store? Or is that just your building?
Yeah, that's a Bricklink store. Can you see this camera? It's got a little light on it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
So this camera, it's on a gooseneck, and it basically just aims down.
Oh, we are.
I use that to identify parts in the Bricklink store, so I can just snap a picture and it'll tell me what they are. Right. For doing streaming on like a build stream, that camera is $18, I think it was. Super
No
cheap.
way.
Yeah, super cheap. It's useless if you actually want to like look at it and have it be like a webcam. It sucks. Yeah. But it's great for aiming down. So you can use that for like a build stream just for your hands and your parts, and use your regular webcam for like the top part. It's fantastic.
Is it on Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon, super cheap, and you can flip it so it, depending on which way you're aiming it, you can reverse it on the screen. It's got 3 light settings in it if you need to brighten things up. The thing's unreal. It was so cheap.
No, well, I'll have to remember that.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'll get around to doing another build.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I think Brickcraft has sent me some sets to do for them, and Panacea, I got to do one for them. They had a knight on a horse that they sent me that is just phenomenal. And Brickcraft, I really enjoyed all. They sent me all the Grinch stuff that year it first came out. And then to toot EJ Bocan that I was talking about earlier, he actually designed the two Yellowstone sets that Brickcraft did. They did this really cool cow skull. Actually, it's right here.
The funny thing about these streams is when somebody stands up, you always got to hope they have pants on.
I know. And I'm there. Just
wow, that's cool.
This is amazing. I toot his horn all the time. I mean, we hang out since we both are doing the show, and we actually end up rooming together. So we hang together. We spend a lot of time together. It's got the plate on the back to hang on the wall. I want to hang it up on the wall somewhere. But he designed this, and then I'm not sure where I got it. He did a stallion and then it has the Yellowstone entryway thing.
Wow.
And so he is phenomenal builder too. And so, but I know that's where I was going. So all these, and I haven't bought a Lumi brick set yet, but I'm really want to, because I've heard nothing but good stuff about them. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know where you are on the non-Lego spectrum, but man, I don't care. If I like it, I like it. So, I mean, my son loved Halo, so we own most of the Mega Block Halo collection, and it was some cool stuff. Yeah. I mean, whoever designs for them is got some skills. Now, I mean, the brick could say, the clutch power stuff wasn't so great, but sometimes, but as far as the design and just the fun and the playability after you got them built, he had great hours of, and it was so cheap. That's how we had much of it. I mean, Toys R Us, they'd have buy one, get one free, buy two, get one free, half price all the time. So, yeah. And I'm one of them people. If I have one of any theme or set, I got to have the whole thing. And so I was buying it, even if he didn't necessarily want, you need this, you need.
Yeah, I haven't dabbled into any of the alternative brands, I guess you'd call them.
Yeah.
But if Brickcraft is watching this and they want to send me the Futurama sets, I'm all about it.
There you go.
I would not turn them down. Like,
I bought the spaceship. I never really have watched the cartoon that much,
no, it's really
but I love that spaceship. So I haven't built it yet. And then they did a couple other little sets. The robot, I guess, I thought he looked pretty cool. They've got a lot of fun stuff on there. Yeah, go on their website and check them out. Walmart carries some of the stuff, but not. They even have the Golden Girls.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
And
my niece loves the Golden Girls, and I need to order that set for one because it'll probably go away if I don't get it done. But
so funny. Yeah, and they're so cheap. It's unbelievable. And they were the first one to figure out to actually make a brick built vase for the botanicals.
yeah,
Why was that not? That should have been a no brainer for Lego. Just do it. And no, they go. Lego makes a glass vase that they sell. Well, it's plastic, but it's not brick built. It's a plastic trans vase that you could buy for.
I guess I've got a bunch of them, but especially the Asian themed stuff is what I have. I would love to own all of it. I like it a lot, but my wife's like, no, because I was going to try. I've been trying for 15 years to get her into building or anything, and she's very supportive, and God love her. She's the reason I was able to do what I did, to be available through all those seasons to trying out and stuff like that, because it becomes a part-time job. I mean, just because they're calling you, they need pictures, they need videos, they need interview stuff, and and then there's a lot of time in between and stuff. And so I did a lot of I was doing it anyway. Like I said, my entire life I've done things just to survive and whatever, just so I could stay free and do my own thing. And but it was good to have her support, at least that way. But yeah, on the Lego part, she thinks it's cool, but that's as far as it goes for her.
Yeah, well, think about how much money you save by not dragging her into the hobby.
Well, now I got my grandson, and and my son's kind of gotten back into it, and there's stuff he likes. And then even my daughter, she's a school teacher, and it's stressful. She's fourth grade, and she's somewhere along the line. I had kind of I gave my son-in-law a couple of sets because he's always been Technic and stuff, and she started kind of building. So now she comes over here and starts raiding my closets and stuff because she wants something to come home and just to build. And so now she's got stuff she likes, and I'm buying for her too. So I don't know.
Oh no.
The whole rest of the family, and now my granddaughter, I don't know. She's not 2 yet, but she's already liking to build and play with it and stuff. So I'll probably be buying her stuff too.
You're going to be donating plasma for Lego sets soon.
Here, one of my kidneys. It's not working anyway here.
Oh man, yeah. Well, if it gets pricey, it's crazy. Okay, so let me think here. Brick convention. Does Brick Show set up at those?
They do. So I guess if you want, I can kind of. I don't know how familiar with the conventions you are.
So Brick convention, I've only been to one.
Okay.
We went to Springfield, Mass. Last year, the year before.
That's one of the ones I missed last year. I only did a few last year. What got me fully. The thing with that show. Once you get your stuff on the truck, because it's the only show that hauls the premier artist stuff around. Now, Brick Universe might, I'm not sure, because I know a lot of the people that travel with that show, like Leah Chan and Paul Hetherington and stuff. They've been friends because I used to display it. That's where I was kind of the second show I really ever displayed at was Brick Universe. It came to Dallas in 2015. But anyway, get back on topic here. I basically have a couple of crates, and all of them, when I pack up everything, all that goes into the crates, and then they truck it for us. But it's just the three of us, and then all the stuff to set up the show, which, like I said, those are the only ones that do that. So that's really nice because last year, well, the 2 years previously, I was actually working for 4 different shows. I did
Wow.
all of the brick fan event stuff for 2 years, and I hauled the Western bill to some of the shows, but I had to haul it myself. And the ones I had to fly to, I just had to take what I could fit in the suitcase. And then the Ultimate Brick Show, I was able to drive. I did 3 shows with them last year, and I was able to haul the Western build to 2 of them. Brick Fair, it's for me, it's not about, that's nothing Lego math. It's, I just been helping set it up. And like I said, I run the bling desk. And then did several shows for Grayson last year. But when it came to the fall last year, he did a California run, and he was trying to find one of us to do it. And I was like, oh man, it's been a dream. I want to take the Wild West build to the West Coast. So I said, I'll do all the shows you want me to out there. So I got my stuff on the truck. And so this year, I told him, look, you know what? You got the shows. I'm your man. I'll do it, and all but 2 of them. And it was just because of family stuff. But you was asking about brick shows. So there's Brick Show. It's a Block Party, Victoria's Secret, and now Brick Brigade, that literally they haul all their own stuff, but they literally travel to every city. They basically, like the young men that drive the trucks and stuff for Brick Convention, they follow along and travel to and set up every weekend and tear down every weekend. And I've known most of them since the beginning too. I met a lot of them because they do all the other shows too. I mean, they're just out there trying to survive and thrive like everybody else and doing it their way, which has been kind of fun. I mean, they're part of the family too. I've really gotten to know and enjoy hanging with all of them all the time too. So that's one of, another kind of unique thing about it. And then, like I said, we try to get as many local people as room will permit, as many local clubs and people. He does tend to have smaller venues, and sometimes we don't have as many displayers, and sometimes it may just be me, AC, and EJ that are only really the displays there. But we still have a lot of people come through and try to entertain them as best we can. So
Now, and I'm trying to remember, maybe it was Brick Fest, not Brick Convention. Then everything is brick, so it gets a little blurry sometimes.
Well, and that's because of Lego. They can't officially use Lego, and I don't, I'm not sure what other words you would use.
Yeah. Are those events all 2 sessions a day?
2 or 3. We had, if
3
first 2, or if they sell out, he'll add a third. Like we in St. Louis, we were there for a 3rd session from 10 till 8. And in Columbus, we did 4 in one day. We started at 7 in the morning. We had a 7 to 9:30, and then went right into the 10 to 1 and 12. And that's something, I mean, honestly, in 3 hours, you can see and do about what it is. And it's nice to have that hour. And we usually, they'll let if there's a big enough line, they'll let them in a little early. But it really is nice to be able to sit down and eat lunch and stuff. Because the other shows where it's just all day long, you just really never, if you're a displayer in general, you're just kind of there hanging out. And if you leave or sitting there eating lunch, I can't do that. I got to be standing up and interacting with people. And that's partly just me too. A lot of them sit and talk, but I have to, I want to be up and engaging everybody as much as I can and stuff. So I'm on my feet the whole 3 hours at these shows and then the other shows all day long. And so it is kind of nice having that aspect of it. But
man, 3 or 4 shows, that's insane. That is a hell of a day.
It is a long day.
Yeah. So one thing I've said on here before, and you had mentioned this, I think, before we went live is those shows are great for a young audience. We brought trying to think, did we have for Brick Fest, I think it was just my oldest. I don't think my youngest was around yet. And then for Brick Convention, we brought both kids, and they had a great time. It wasn't much of anything for like myself and my wife, but the girls had a blast, and it was just the right amount of time for them. And like you said, you have the right amount of time. You can come in, see everything, and you leave feeling fulfilled for what your objective was, right?
Well, and I will say with Brick Convention, there's a lot of vendors. So there's a lot. In fact, half the show is probably vendors, because I mentioned the ones that travel with the show, but then there's four, and I hope not telling stuff I'm not supposed to, but there's four young men that actually set up the show, and each one of them, the one kind of is the manager of the show overall, but then they have what they call B3 bricks, which is kind of like bricker builds. I'm not sure who comes up with the designs, but they have an area. And then there's the military, and the young man, Owen, that runs that, he does all the displays and stuff. And he's a phenomenal builder in his own right. I mean, it's amazing the war displays and stuff that he's built to go along with they sell the figures. And I don't know. The sad part is, in all the shows I've done with them, I've never really taken the time or had the time to go really walk and ask a lot of questions about their stuff. I mean, they're usually busy setting up things, and I'm busy setting up. And then during the show, we're busy with that. And then Sunday night at 5:00, like all the shows, everybody they're tore down and out of there, and we tear down, and then we're out of there. So you don't get a lot of chance, so there is a lot of, opportunities but I am having fun when there is space. Like I said, it's build with a Lego Masters, what it's called. And I get up and I kind of introduce myself, and what the kind of the sad part about it is, even though it's been 6 years, Lego Masters has been here in the States. I kid you not, I do 2 sessions per session every week. So I do like 4 on Saturday and 4 on Sunday. And I kid you not, in all of them I've done, when I ask how many of you know there is a show called Lego Masters or have seen the show, maybe out of 50, 60 people or more sitting around there, 10 every time, without exception. Maybe 10 people know there even is a show. I mean, I have brought thousands of people to that show, and I hope, and then sad part is, they all tell me, they love the show. It has brought their family together. They all would wait to watch it to when they could all be together. I mean, Fox just has no clue what a really big hit they could have on their hands if they did a little more promotion. Because they did very little. I mean, and part of it is it's Fox. So, a lot of people don't watch Fox. So there's that maybe that plays into it. And a lot of people tell me too, they just don't watch TV. They stream and stuff like that. So they don't see the normal network stuff anyway, but a lot of them that do know about the show came across it, advertising on the stream and stuff. So, I do that and, educate them and all that. And so that adds a little bit of fun. And then we usually have the brick pit. They'll have just bricks for the kids to build. And then EJ over in his area, he's got his mosaics, but then he has a bunch of brick where the kids get to build stuff and kind of end up with like a city and all of that. So, we try to, we don't have a lot of like games and stuff like the bigger AFOL shows do. A lot of, but they're there 3 or 4 days, and they're trying to entertain not only the public, but the AFOLs that are there, that have paid to be there. And that's the thing with Brick Convention. They don't charge anything to display. And it doesn't have to be mocks either. I mean, the AFOL shows, they want to see creations. They don't want to see some kid bringing his Ninjago collection. as part of the display. But
Yeah.
we don't care. We do, because some people do. I mean, these kids have a lot what the prices on Lego, to see somebody that has 15, 20 Ninjago sets, that's a dream for some of these kids. I mean, they have one or two, and to come in and see what's actually there and see them built, it's something for them. And it gives the chance for younger kids to really get involved. And we really do good about that. I got to say, this weekend too, we had several first time displayer young kids. I mean, probably 5 to 10. And we give out awards. I don't like doing the awards thing because I don't like judging. I love everybody's stuff. But we were kind of able to finagle it to where we gave some of these first time young builders an award. And oh my God, you'd have thought that we'd made them president or something. They just, so that is something kind of unique, I think, to Brick Convention that the other bigger shows, because with the bigger shows, it's all about, truly competition and giving out awards to, and you go through themes and categories and all that's, it gets to be a big deal. And there's always ruffle feathers and all that kind. And we get a little bit of that too. Well, why didn't I get an award kind of thing too? And it's hard because there's only so many. I mean, I would give an award to everybody every time if I could, but you just can't. But we do have an opportunity to really, I hope, some young kid that, that might just be trying something and it might inspire him enough that he'll keep with it and end up doing what I'm doing. That's the thing. You just don't know where people are going to end up or what they're going to do. So you want to make them feel as good and as special as you can. And so we do work real hard to try and do that too. So.
Do you ever post like your schedule? I don't think I've seen that anywhere. I know you do, like for the individual shows, like every time something's coming.
Well, if I have a burst of inspiration, like what was it? There was like 3 shows in a row, what started with M, and one of them got canceled. So it was going to be the Good tour, and then it ended up being the M&M tour, and then there was something else. And I don't know. I thought about it, and I may, since we're doing so many in a row, I may just do some chunks, kind of thing, because I'm running out of ideas. It's like putting music to your post too, trying to come up. I always try to match a song with either the town we're at or, or something. And then I love music. I play guitar and stuff and all that. And I love oldies, rock and roll and all that. And it's a big part of my life. And so I really try to get out there and find some of my obscure stuff that I love to throw in there just to kind of add something different. But I always want to try and tie it into where we're going. And sometimes that's kind of hard, like Montgomery this week. That's why I was just thinking earlier, I got to get a post done for that. I'm getting really bad. I used to on Monday or Tuesday, I'd put my post out that I was going to be there the next weekend. Now it's like, last week I was there already when I finally got the post made. I was in St. Louis, but then again, I don't know how many people are watching it and seeing it or even care. I see there's quite a few views and stuff, but I sincerely hope that Lego Masters is seeing how much I'm out there and stuff. And if we ever get to do an all-star or, bring people back, that I'm on the list at least. That, hey, America knows who this guy, because I've been all over America the last 3. I mean, everywhere, West Coast, East Coast, in between, and a couple more years of doing this, I really will hit it hard with people knowing who I am. And I'm also lucky. I get in on Thursday night, and then a lot of times I get to go do the news morning show at one of the networks first thing Friday morning, and I love that. It's so much fun. And then, because usually what happens, the press is out there during the weekend, but I'm kind of always in the back. I'm kind of like the treasure you find, I guess, after you make your way, because AC, he's right there front and center, and EJ's not far from him. And so when they finally get around back to me and stuff, so a lot of times the reporters and stuff that come out during the show, I never see them or talk to them, but I get to go do the morning show to start things off usually, and that's a lot of fun. I've met a lot of really cool people, and every once in a while there'll be a real fan at the TV station too. Like, oh my God, Tim, you're here! So, no, it's it's I ain't gonna lie. Self-esteem was always one of my big issues and thing, and still to some degree is, and um, to have people, actually want to talk to me and do things like that really means a lot to me. So um, it genuinely is a something I'm grateful for, and really cherish and really look forward to, because like I said, I have fun, and they have fun. Usually these morning shows, they're having fun, and then the other guests, I get to meet them, and a lot of times they end up coming to the show because I was there talking about the show. So cool. It kind of works too. I'm selling the minute I hit town, I'm talking to the lady at the hotel and the gas wherever I go in town. Walmart, I go get groceries and stuff, and I'm talking to the greeter and anybody, clerk, checkout, and all that about we're here for Lego convention and all that. And I did that with all the conventions I worked for. I mean, it wasn't just Brick Convention. I mean, Brick Fan Event, all of the stuff, because I was trying, I want people to come. I mean, I want all these shows to do well, and I want them to keep on do it because they're all great shows, and there's great people doing them and putting them on, and it's supporting them and creating a living for a lot of people. And I want that to continue, because it is like I think we were talking earlier. It's just such a fun way to make a living and to live in general.
They should give you a pocket full of discounted tickets to just carry around with you. It sounds like a missed opportunity.
They maybe have thought about it. I just never know who I'm going to meet or whatever. But usually they can go online and get a little bit of get a perk. So, and I always manage to mention that and stuff too. But you're right. I'd probably be even worse than I am. I mean, I even talk to people on the elevator. I mean, all the guests at the hotel, if they get trapped on the elevator with me, they're going to hear about Brick. They're going to hear about whatever Lego convention I'm there representing that weekend. And it works to some degree. And the staff too. I mean, oh, you know what? My grandson or granddaughter, they would love that. When did you say it is? It is. It's just fun. And then if I get to go to the Lego store or whatever while I'm there, of course, I'm talking to the people back there by the pick and brick wall, and the staff. Usually the staff, they have to work, but the customers that are in there that get too close to me, why they they learn about the show. They may or may not come. And then, surprisingly enough, few people in the hotel that they saw me on the news or whatever that morning, because sometimes the hotels will have the different news stuff on. I'll come back to the hotel. Hey, we saw you on the show. We might have to come check it out. And I'm like, yes, you should.
Yeah, I don't think the price on those shows is very bad. I think that was
the sad part about that, is that I never really knew. I've always been a displayer, so I've either paid the full registration price or I've worked the show, so I've never paid any attention to what the public pays, and which is kind of bad. Now I know, like with Brick Convention, I think it's $20 at the door and $15 if you do it online, which you can't even go to the movie for that these days. And I think most of them are in that kind of price point. That's where Brickfest Live had a lot of backlash, that they were charging. I want to say they had like these VIP things for $40, and but then they also, I know there was Groupon things. I mean, there was people getting there for $20 and stuff. So, but I don't know for sure. Like I said, especially on that one, I was always there displaying, so I never had to buy public tickets, so I never knew any of the shows what they cost. But I have to think they're all kind of in that ballpark. Now I do know, like the bigger AFOL shows, the registration just keep creeping up. You're paying $100 and some. I think what Brick World jumped way up there this year.
For $5, if you bought early when the tickets were first released, they're a little cheaper. For 5 days, it was 120, I think.
Oh, that ain't bad. I heard about double that, so maybe that was something different. But
Yeah, I think it was 120. I think it was like 175 maybe if you bought, I don't know, later in the
yeah,
period.
well, they all do really good. That's the one thing with Todd and Brick Fair. He lets the early bird special go dang near till the time for the show to start. So
Yeah.
most everybody, you get a month, if even that. Now Brick World is such a big deal. I understand. I mean, they got to kind of cut it down so they can just for the sheer numbers of people that come. But
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really, I think if Brick World was 250, I still don't think I'd hesitate.
no,
Yeah.
I wouldn't
And I,
either.
and I and I have to buy 2 tickets every friggin' time, and it well worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really want to go back. We were supposed to go this year. A friend of mine, we were going to split the cost and all that, but he's got a really awesome Batman build that he takes to Brick Fair and stuff, and he wants to take it up there. And I do want to try and get the Western build up there. So hopefully, maybe this year. I don't know. We got to see. Hopefully, we don't have a brick convention that weekend, but if not, I need to work versus going and having fun. Uh, but I'd love to go back because I made so many great friends. Because that's the thing with the Instagram and all the social media. For me, I have no clue how you get monetized, and I have no idea how to figure it out. But what I use it for is I'm just trying to build my friend network, and I really do. I know it's not possible, but try and meet in person as many of the people I follow or get to or that follow me on Instagram. And that's kind of what happened, like you saying at Brick World with you. You met, and I give you the fact you met most of the people you wanted to meet. Great, because I had a pretty good list of people, and I didn't get to see probably half of them, and then the ones that I did, I see them. First thing Friday or whatever, and then I never saw them again the rest of the weekend. It was
That's the real struggle.
crazy, but that's what. And then the cool thing with that year, so many of them that I met, then they came to Brick Rodeo that year, and then we all ended up at Brick Slopes. So a lot of them, I really got to develop that friendship even more because I saw them several times that year. But I haven't been able to go back to Slopes or rodeo. I did last year. I didn't do it this year, and I don't know when I'll get back to that one. But I do. There's so many. Like I said, I want to get. I haven't been to Bricks Cascade, and I really want to try and do that. And then because I have, on the show there was several of the Canadian people, and we had Sam and Nina on there, and then I've gotten to know. I don't know Stephen, and Stephen, the two firefighters. Yo-Yo, I've gotten to know him real well. I didn't really get the other Stephen. I talked to him while Tim and I were there as part of the before we found out we weren't on the show. But I haven't really got to talk to him since then. But having enough Canadian connections, I really would like to go up and do at least one of those shows because I know there's a couple of them that are really, really popular. So, and I have my passport now. So that was the rub a couple of years ago. I didn't have my passport. So I'm ready to go. And I don't know if I'll ever get to, but I'd love to go to Billund and see all that. And the show in Tokyo. And the Japanese and Chinese builders are that's the thing. They have a Lego Master show that I think would be incredible to watch, but I have no idea where you would find them. Maybe I haven't taken the time to look on maybe YouTube or whatever, but there's 19 countries that have had Lego Master shows.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. So
I wonder how many people can actually name 19 countries.
I'm not one of them.
Yeah, I don't think it's a lot.
If I sat down and wrote them down, I might be able to come close. I don't know. I used to be really good with geography and all that, but I don't even know the city. Half the time, I probably don't even know the capitals anymore of some of these states I'm going to. And like where there's so many, like we did Springfield, Missouri last year, and then they did Springfield, Massachusetts. I didn't get to do that. And then this year we're doing Springfield, Illinois. I mean, all these Springfields and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's
Well,
several towns like that. So
yeah, I think there's one in Ohio too, isn't there?
I think yes, I believe there is. Isn't the one in Illinois? Is that the one? Yes, that's the one that Trump got all in trouble about, where the Haitians, I think, the Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah, it might have been.
But in Springfield, Illinois, isn't that where the Simpsons is? That's the Springfield the Simpsons are supposed to be at?
I'm not really sure. Maybe.
I'm not
sure.
I think really it is, and I don't know. I haven't watched The Simpsons in forever. I remember when it first started.
Yeah, it's been a long time. That's on Disney now, which is weird.
Yeah, no, and there's a lot of things on Disney that kind of you nuts.
Yeah. There's horror movies on Disney now. It's just really strange.
Yep. Well, we're on Disney Plus now, so woo, made the big time.
Wait, Lego Masters?
Yeah. Well, somehow with them taking over Hulu or whatever that's
right.
I mean, you can still go to Hulu and find it, but you can go to Disney Plus and we're there too. And then I tell everybody about Tubi, the TUBI, the free, because they have all of our stuff. They have the original UK version, and then they have, I think, 5 or 6 of the Australian seasons on there too. So I need to go on there and look, because I keep telling all this stuff, but I need to make sure what I'm telling is accurate. But I mean, it was at one point, or I wouldn't have been saying it, but I need to go on there and see just exactly what's on each one of them. But
all right. Yeah, I'll have to tell my kids about the Disney thing, because they would watch that. Okay.
Watch season 4.
Yeah.
The best season ever.
Yeah.
That's what I don't see anybody from my cast very often, but if I did, I'd tell them, you know what, you can thank me a little, because everybody that I meet, they usually have either went and watched season 4, or they're going to go home and start watching season 4. So I'm making them all a household name again too, right along with me. So they're getting a lot of free publicity, which I'm glad for. I mean, the whole show, I promote it just because it is such a great show, and everybody that I've been fortunate enough to meet and get to know and all that from all the seasons are just wonderful people. I mean, as much guff or much, especially, and it's sad that a lot of the AFOLs, and I get it, because a lot of them have tried out and didn't make it, and there's some hurt feelings and stuff there, and I understand that. I mean, and I wish I had an inkling of who, how, why they choose who they do, but at the end of the day, though, everybody that did make it on there, it was usually part of the conventions, before, and was a part of the community before. And they still continue to be just the same lovable, involved people that they were before. And so, that's the thing I think people kind of lose sight of too, that they get a little, all the drama, and, I don't watch it and then surprisingly enough, even the public, when the first 2 seasons, they did a lot of blowing them up and smashing them and stuff like that. That turned a lot of people off, I guess. So, and I know, there's a few AFOLs that it really turned off too, but in fact, Corey, it really bugged him, and and he was one of the original season, and when they smashed him and stuff, and it hurt, and he still, because when we do panels and stuff, he talks about that, but so I tell her, that's the one plug for season 4. I said, we didn't blow anything up. I said, we had a volcano, so syrupy stuff got all over everything, but nothing got destroyed. so if you don't like that, jump right into season 4.
I wonder how many people can place contestants with their seasons. So speaking for myself, the majority of the Lego Masters I've seen has been on YouTube, because I care way more about the people and the builds than the drama. I don't have any patience for the drama of it. But obviously, with this kind of show, I care about people. Like the people very much interest me, and the brick is clearly very important. So if you go on YouTube, you can just see the little interview snippets, and you can just see the builds, and you don't have to worry about all of the
Right.
dramatic oohs and ahs and like the frozen stares across the room. You could skip all of that,
Right.
but it makes it very hard to connect all the pieces, like who is actually in what season, because you're seeing like this
Yeah.
cooking build and that makes it very hard.
Well, and I'll be honest, even knowing as many as I do and stuff, I still get confused as to some of them. I mean, the ones that I'm really close to, I know for sure, but then I know there's some of them that, because a lot of them have just kind of, they checked it off. Okay, I was on a TV show, went back to doing whatever they're doing and all that. I mean, there really are a really small handful. I mean, there's, so 5 seasons, 24, what? 125 or so of us all together. And I would be willing to bet out of that 125 that maybe 50 are actively, trying to do any kind of either doing Lego conventions or the BAM stores. Even with all that publicity right now, we're a great source for us. I mean, they like grand openings and anniversaries. And I've got my Oklahoma City store. I've got Wichita. I did their grand opening. The Springfield, Missouri store got really close. Actually, I met a lot of them because I typically, when I go to these towns, if I'm driving Monday before I come home, I go try to visit all of them and just say hi and let them know I'm around and get to know them a little bit. There again, you asked me earlier about getting the phone calls and stuff. As a rule, no. Now, on some of them, they have reached out to me about doing events and stuff for them. But it's because partly I've laid the groundwork. I make the time to go, and not just the BAM, any independent like St. Louis, there is, it is a phenomenal store, the Minifig Plus, and that's all the locals. That's where they shop. Oh my God, it was a nice big shop. They had great prices. And the guys, I got to talk to the owner. I think they were the owners and stuff, and just spend some time in there. And so I do try to, that's the thing. I'm out there networking and reaching out to people, and even on like Instagram, I try to follow all the BAM stores and stuff like that, and comment on their posts and stuff. Like Houston, there's 12 stores open now.
Wow.
Going to be 15. And when I drove 2 weeks ago, we did Midland, Texas. So I didn't want to come all the way back to Oklahoma, so I just drove over to Houston, where we lived down there for about 30 years. We just moved up to Oklahoma too. So we got family and a lot of friends there in Houston. So I spent a couple of days, or was going to be a couple of days, but I ended up having to go. But I went on my way out of town, I was literally able to go to 3 of the new BAM stores and introduce myself and talk to the owners. 2 of them one's a retired police officer, and the one's still an active police officer that own 2 of the different stores there in Houston. So, that's it's unfortunate about all this stuff going on, because the actual stores, the owners and the stuff are just wonderful people, and they're all about community and building something that is much more than just a Lego store. It's trying to create a place where anybody can come that wants to can come hang out and build and just find some connection and stuff. And it's really, so I mean, that's why, and partly I want to be part of that. If they want somebody there for events and stuff, why, I'm up for that. So
yeah, and it's been sad to see what has happened to a lot of these places and the nonsense they've had to deal with.
yeah.
And hopefully that's starting to settle down and come to an end. The buzz is kind of worn off. I don't know.
I think so. I mean, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. Even I never watched any. I mean, I saw snippets and stuff, but I just there was just too much, and I didn't have time to sit and watch all of it because there was just so much of it there for a while. So I never really saw. I think the most I saw anything was the initial owner. The lady did a video early on, and I saw part of that, but come to find out, a lot of that maybe that story is a whole lot different than what. So I don't know, and I don't have enough knowledge about it to even talk about it. But what is funny about that though? So I'm in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and it's about 35,000 people, small town pretty much, and but there's a lot of Lego. And my Harbor Freight store, that's where I buy a lot of my cases and stuff. They have them on sale all the time. It's well worth the $34 a year that I pay to be a member for the discounts. Because anyway, they knew that I do Lego because I've told them that's what I'm buying these cases. So I walked in there. Oh, this thing had been going on for a while. And the lady that was there that day, she knew. She said, "You're the Lego guy, right?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Can I ask you a question? What's going on with these BAM stores?" This lady has nothing to do with Lego because she just so this whole thing had just spilled over into everything. And so I tried to explain to her as best I could what little I knew about it and stuff. She said, "Well, I just wondered. It was just really interesting." Said, wow. This really has become a big deal.
Yeah. So shameless plug here, but personally, I think the best piece of anything to come from all of this, I had the owner of Bricks and Minifigs Cincinnati East on the show. Ryan's been on a couple times now. He's a great guy.
Yep.
And we talked about how all of this has impacted him personally in his store. And I think that it's my favorite piece of content from any of this because there was no nonsense and no sensationalism. It was just sitting down with a normal guy who's just trying to, help build something for his family. That was the perspective that I think everybody needed. So I really tried to make that happen because I think that's what everybody was missing was get as mad at you as you want at corporate. It's still real people trying to do real things. And there wasn't enough of that. And that bothered me.
Well, I will definitely have to go check that out because I would like, and then now after it's all I'm kind of curious as to just what exactly, or kind of curious because I have talked to, some of them owners I met that day, we discussed it a little bit and stuff like that. What's kind of funny, and I don't know if you remember, and I'd forgotten that this was the store, but the BAM store in Cypress, Texas, there was that other guy that kept going in and buying the mystery boxes and then posting about how bad they were. And he kept buying more and just to try and prove his point. Well, that was the store. And I went in there and he was telling me, I'd forgot all about it. And he said, "Yeah," he said, "the guy never actually talked to me, but he was coming in and making a big deal. And he was taking, I guess there's coupons inside and he was printing them himself and taking, I just was being a total asshole about the whole thing. I mean, but that was that store, I guess. And the guy, oh my God. And him and his little boy was there with him that day. And that's who it was for. I mean, it's all about them. I mean, it's just he's an IT guy, as his main thing, trying to do something fun. And I think he's got a really pretty successful store. I liked it. It was a good store. And, but this one guy just kind of made it his personal mission to try and.
It's so sad.
It is. It really is. Because when you get to know the people, but.
Yeah. People just need more to do with their lives and stop bothering other people.
No, and that's it. Because you don't realize how you're affecting. It's just like to go back to the Brickfest Live thing. It got so much hate from the AFOL, the Lego community in general. But the thing about it was there was a lot of good people there was two teams, because at one point, right, I don't know, they were all over. They were doing two shows a weekend all over the country. So they literally had two crews that were setting these shows up, and then they even went to Europe with it and just all this stuff. And I was fortunate enough, I got to work with both crews, because I did Patrick and I, Grandpappy Patrick, was the first one I did for them as a Lego master. We got to go to Las Vegas. Oh my God, that was so much fun. But I got to work with one crew out there. And then the shows I did, the next few shows were kind of more, I did Kansas City and Denver, and I worked with the other crew. And they were just such fun people. And I mean, they were trying to put on do something positive and make a good show and all of that, and then you had all these people just tearing it down. And I mean, I guess they finally won. They, it kind of, but, well, I think part of with them, they just got too expanded. That European thing they did just killed them. So they just, and now I'm not sure where it's at. It's the dinosaur Jurassic something that bought it out finally. And if I understand it right, it's mainly the dinosaur stuff, but then they still have, because they had just put a bunch of money in all these new sculptures and stuff. And, and I don't know where everybody was saying there wasn't anything for anybody to do. There was all kinds of activities for the kids. Now, again, it was for the kids, and because so many of the lugs were boycotting and stuff, they couldn't get displayers. Literally, I did the Kansas City show, I did the Kansas City show. The Kansas City lug did not want to be part of it, so I think I was the only one that had. I had my usual setup stuff for where the Lego Master was supposed to be, but I took my original samurai build that I had done with my original cowboy build, just to have something else out there for people to see. And that was it that weekend in Kansas City. So, had there been more, and then you would go like Las Vegas. Oh my God, the Las Vegas lug, that was their only show. So they made a big deal of it. So, I don't know. I just wish people would just, if you want to just understand that there's different kinds of shows. And if there's an opportunity to display for free, and if you like to display, jump on it. I mean, the idea is to show your stuff to the public. Who cares where it's at? And so many of them got hung up on the price for if they were charging. If people are willing to pay it and come to the show, that's on them. I mean, I get it. I mean, I think there may have been some false, the way things were advertised, maybe. I don't know. I never paid attention to a lot of that. But like I said, I did, knowing what I knew, I tried to ask everybody that I interacted with, are you enjoying the show? Are you getting, and I always got yeses out of it. So I don't know. Enough of my soapbox thing.
All right. So we're closing in on 2.5 hours here, if you can believe it.
My gosh, it has that.
Yeah. So we should probably start wrapping up. So I guess last question is, what do you think is next for you? So we've talked about a potential next build and some next shows. Are you gonna stick with Brick Convention and keep riding it out, or what are you thinking there?
I hope so. I mean, as far as I know, that's kind of the thing. I haven't seen anything much about the schedule next year. It'll be a little bit before any of that comes out, but I want to. I found my place. I mean, like I said, I did all these other shows and had my spot there, but I don't know. This one just seems to fit me, and I have my own space, and I'm treated very well. I mean, I've got banner. I mean, it almost looks kind of, I'm sure some people like, my God, this guy's so full of himself. His name's here and there, and they got banners here and there. And they provided that kind of, I didn't have, that was kind of the thing that really touched me, that, wow, because a couple of the other shows, I was supposed to get some of that stuff, and they never, I was just there. They never really, have all, especially when there was all the other Lego Masters that were there, they had banners, in their own space and all of that. But I never really got that 100%, ever. So I feel like, I'm getting my, not to sound bad, poorly, but I feel like I'm wanted, I guess, to say the least. And then everybody's been so great to work with, and they seem to like me. And so I hope, like I said, I don't know beyond that, because I also want, if there's other Lego masters, that want the same opportunity, because it is an income opportunity for the most part. And there's only so few of these kind of, I don't want to hog it all for, but at the same time, I'm, willing to do what needs to be done. And so I would say at least this year, and then we'll kind of see, next 20, meaning 20, moving into January 2026, 2027. Why I would hope that, at least another year. And then, like I said, I really do want to try and get more into doing some other engagements and stuff. There's some things that's kind of come up. I don't know the people I met and talked to about, I haven't been in touch with, but that kind of are leading into bigger and different things and allow me to maybe serve and do more. I want to continue with Lego as a basis for it all, because I think it's such a great medium and tool to use for so many different things. I try to stay involved with the different, the schools and stuff here locally. And I've been told, I want to branch out with some of that more, and I'm not an engineering type person. So the STEM stuff is kind of lost on me. I mean, I could figure some of it out, and I do like some of that, but that's not really my expertise. I'm more into the storytelling and the creative side of it. So, if I can find an avenue for that, I do know, believe it or not, there's one of the community colleges actually has some classes and stuff that I could be a teacher. And I taught art different times. Over the years, I've taught several things over the years. So I would never want to be a full-time teacher, but it would be kind of fun to do the Lego thing. I think, especially at the college level, because you're dealing with, kids that are kind of, I love the little kids, but I love the big kids too. So I love doing adult classes too. That is one of the things, and I'll shut up after that. I really want to try and figure out how to include like assisted living centers and providing some programs and stuff, because A, it gives them something to do, and B, it gives me an opportunity to sit and just listen to stories and history and all that kind of stuff. Because growing up, I grew up in a little town of 100 people in western Kansas, and I had both sets of grandparents that lived a block away. My two great grandmothers, the one great grandmother literally lived right behind, and I got to spend a lot of time just with them. When both my grandfathers passed away about the same time, so I still had my grandmothers and my one great grandma. My grandma was her daughter, so we moved her in with her. And so when one or the other when great grandma had to go to the doctor, well, I'd sit with great grandma, and just the stories and all the history and stuff. And I really enjoy that. And then that's a big thing too, when I run into the people at the show, the older people at the shows that are into Lego and stuff, I get to hear, a lot more than just about their Lego collection. A lot of times they got a lot of great stories and stuff, and so that's a big thing I do want to try and really, I've been talking about it for a long time, but I've never really had the time to pursue it much. So I do want to work in that direction too. So I don't know, there's a whole lot of things, and I get more excited because I would have never guessed that this is where I would be right now 2 years ago. I mean, I kind of hoped, but that was the one reality check, I guess, with the whole Lego Master thing. When it first started, you just assumed that, wow, you're on TV for Lego. Everybody in the Lego stores would just know you, and and you get all these opportunities because you're on TV and all that. But soon found out after talking to the season one people and seeing the realities of what they went through. Of course, COVID kind of screwed that season one big time, because when their time to shine and really do stuff, everybody was home, couldn't do nothing. So, And then 2 was kind of the same way. Everybody was already home and all that. So it was a kind of a, okay, so this isn't going to be quite the celebrity deal that you would hope. But you can make, I keep getting told that Tim and I were 2 of the most recognized and two big fan favorites, even though we were only there for 4 episodes. And really, when you watch, we're not on there a whole lot, so to be recognized, I mean, I'm sure it was the overalls. And that was my deal. I wore overalls the very first Zoom call we did because I love my overalls. And somewhere along the line, season 3, they decided that was our outfit. And so Tim went and got overalls. And so I'm one of the fortunate, because I know not all the cast enjoyed their outfits. but we did. So
fantastic. All right. Well, hopefully you share a little bit more of this stuff on the socials, because I know a lot of us would love to see that, even if it's just little glimpses here and there.
Oh, I'm going to get better at it. I mean, I've got a lot of people that I really want to promote and do stuff for too. So,
yeah. Well, there you go. Do it for the other people.
There you
just happen to be involved in the process, and because we can't all be everywhere with you, but I know a lot of us wish we could be, because you're doing some awesome stuff out there, and it all sounds like a lot of fun.
I would love having you right there with me. So, and I definitely will, now that I know about you and of you, and like I said, you got a friend for life. So,
well, hopefully we'll end up catching you up here one of these days, or Brick World. I think I'm pretty sure we're going to go to Brick World and Brick Slopes next year. I think we're going to have to make that happen. I don't think it's an option anymore.
I need to go to Indy. That apparently last year, that one, it really was a good show. I mean, I think it's always been a good show, but they had just a tremendous year at Indy last year, apparently. So, and that one I don't know. It's 10 hours to go to Chicago. I can't remember. I went through Indianapolis on my way to Columbus a few months ago. So, and I think it's a little closer, but it might not be quite so expensive.
Yeah.
Being in Indianapolis, the hotels and stuff might not be quite so expensive, but I don't know. I definitely, and then there's Brick Days up in Colorado, or on Nebraska, Omaha.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
It's become getting to be a bigger show, and that one's pretty close. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shows. So
good. I hope they all stay very successful. Good.
Me too.
And someday, maybe somebody will put something decent together in New England. Hopefully, someday.
They never. California's coming back. LA had been without a show for a long time, and now there's Brickcentric, I think they did last year, and they're going to do it again in January. So,
yeah, it's Shy had Mel Iceberg Bricks on, and they didn't have a whole lot of fantastic things to say about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's because it's still early in recovery time out there. I don't really know, but we'll see.
Yeah, I keep telling Shy I'd love to do his sitting on a stoop sometime, because I haven't gotten to know him real well, but I've seen him a couple of times, and he, like you, he'd be a lot of fun. I'd really like to, because he had that show with there was a young lady and
Callie Bricklick.
Yeah, and about the time that we finally could do stuff, they decided to call it quits. So I never got a chance to get on there and talk with them. But when he started, because I said, man, if you're going to do all these little country type things, come to Tulsa or come to Bartlesville. You got a place to stay for however long you want, and we can do whatever you want. And so,
yeah, Shy is amazing. He is a great human being, and just a pleasure to be around always.
He sure seems like I said, I've only interacted with him a couple of times, but I really have enjoyed. I was watching that Cali Click a lot, and I try to watch a lot of the sitting on a stoop interviews and stuff, because a lot of the people he's talking to are friends of mine as well. I mean, Mel, I've known Mel now for a few years. Mel and I, we've done some things together, been at the same conventions and stuff, but we really haven't worked together like I have with some of the others. So I haven't got that chance really, but he actually was kind of my main inspiration after I saw him, because he was kind of how thought I wanted my career post show to kind of go, because they ended up on him, and Corey and Manny and Travis ended up on Food Network and did this Buddy versus Christmas thing, and I love Food Network, so I was like, man, that would be so cool to try and find something to do on Food Network. But I don't know how that's ever going to happen. But anyway, I just watching what he's done and stuff, and he and I know you wanted to shut this off, but and I'll quit after this, but he's kind of in charge. Todd finally kind of embraced Lego Masters for Brick Fair. Now he only does it at the big one, Chantilly, and now that they're doing it in Mel's hometown, Baltimore, there here in a couple weeks. Mel was in charge of it in Chantilly, and he's in charge again, and he did a great job of putting the panel again, the way he emceed it and stuff like that. So I hope to get to do more stuff with him as well, because he's a lot of fun. I mean, and he's a little younger than I am, but he's a grandpa and all that too. So grandpa's got to stick together. So
there you go. Well, it has been a pleasure. It's been great hanging out tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Great to finally meet you. I will definitely be in touch about something else not too far from now. I think we have another charity event coming up.
Absolutely.
Not too far from now. So I'd love to get you involved with that. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Well, I did for a while. There was the 72-hour stream, kind of what you were talking about with everybody. They reached out. I mean, there was a lot of the Hoosier group and stuff, but we had Mayo, Dunsham did. You picked, well, it was 72 hours kind of stretched into a longer thing, but everybody kind of picked 1 hour, 2 hour slots. And I was able to do, I did it for several years. I don't know if they did it again this year or not, but kind of the same thing. And I don't know. I don't remember if it was so much for charity or just trying to give everybody a chance to get out there and be seen and that kind of thing. But I would love, whatever I can do to help. Why?
All right.
Always there. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. That'll be great. So thank you again, everyone in chat. We love you guys. I will see you next week. Next week's guest is Rapid Bricks. We're going to talk some 3D printing and a little bit of bricklaying.
Ooh, I'll check in on that. All right.
Some fun odds and ends. He is unbelievable with the 3D prints. He does very unique storage towers with like 4 or 5 rotating tiers and
wow.
Awesome stuff. And great pricing too. I think it's rapidbrickshop.com. I think it's the address.
I think I did see something. Thanks, Sizu. I wondered if they did one or not. So he posted about the 72-hour thing.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you again. Thank you, everyone. We will see you next time. Everyone have an awesome night.
All right. Love y'all.
See us live.